Well, I've heard both possibilities floated. The argument I hear that it will get or that it won't get struck down is that Roberts knew this was coming up and he voted for Obamacare because to get him some cover for this because he knows he's going to vote to keep DOMA around. I've heard that. I don't know if I buy it. I'm gonna be optimistic. I'm gonna say DOMA's gone. DOMA's gone when it hits the Supreme Court over the burbling sound of Antonin Scalia's impotent rage.
Yeah, Antonin Scalia, America's about to tell you for Funkalo. John Kendall, what do you think? If this gets to the Supreme Court, will it be struck down?
I'm hoping it is because, like I've said before, who are they to police happiness? And I mean, you have your idiots out there making the assumption that if gays get married, then people can marry their Xbox 360. And it's like, why are they so against happiness?
Yeah.
It's like it makes me shake my head. Like, we've been over this before. I have an older sister who is a lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
My social security representative is a lesbian, and they're two of the greatest people in the whole wide world. And it sucks to see that they don't have the same rights as straight couples do. And I'm hoping it gets struck down.
Good. I really do think that it'll be struck down because now you've got Ted Olson. Now let's review who Ted Olson is because I understand not everyone is plugged into the political matrix like I am, or Wes is, or the other Wes, or I'm sure you're paying a bit more attention to it now that you're a regular here, John. But Ted Olson, former Solicitor General for the United States of America, was George W. Bush's Solicitor General, and this is the guy who went to the Supreme Court and said, if you count all the votes, that violates George W. Bush's right to equal protection under the law. That's who Ted Olson is. Ted Olson is also a guy who lost his wife in 9/11, and he is now a proponent for marriage equality. And I think that him losing his wife made him realize, I think everyone deserves a chance to experience the happiness that my marriage to Barbara Olson allowed me. And he's remarried, and I think he realized, I think it was this experience, I really do, that made him realize everyone has a right to be happy. Even if you don't believe everyone has a right to happiness, the conservative argument, the libertarian argument is, I may not like it, but it's not my right to legislate against it. My grandmother raised me telling me all the time, your rights end where someone else's nose begins. And that's something I believe the great Thomas Jefferson said. I'd have to double check the attribution, but I mean, I know that's what my beloved 83-year-old wise Yoda-like grandmother regularly told me as a child. If you don't like gay marriage, don't enter into one. Don't enter into one. It's that simple. So, that's probably I'm sorry, all that noise. We need to get you a better mic, John. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm eating chips.
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm gonna see if I can save up enough money to get John an actual mic.
I'm sorry, I'm eating chips.
No, it's okay. It's just a little distracting because I'm off my medication. I don't take my Ritalin on the weekends. Which one are we gonna do next? Let's do some Schadenfreude, shall we?
Ooh.
Schadenfreude. People taking pleasure in your pain. I'm not gonna do that sound clip because Kenny does that, and I don't want branding. Branding. Bad news for Limbaugh and Conservative Talk Radio. tremendous chunk of advertising revenue loss. Support from advertisers for conservative talk radio is dwindling. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the support for Rush Limbaugh is rapidly becoming roughly the size of his penis.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you.
Overstepping your bounds. That was a job for the Minister of Penis Jokes.
Overruled, son. This is my name. This is my show. My name is on the show. This is Mike Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
You are a Kenyan tyrant.
You know, I wear that. Oh shit! I screwed up on my show prep. And this has actually been in the works for a while. But this is from Talkers Magazine or Talkers.com, which is Talkers Magazine, which is basically the holy Bible of the radio industry. And consistently sounding a no-nonsense tone, Paditz assured attendees that this is a very serious time. Along those lines, Paditz even mentioned that his comments had kicked off the enthusiastically well-received event would not be going for laughs. Touching on a variety of bullet points, the former Westwood One honcho commented that despite the fact that audience size is unchanged, there is dwindling support for conservative talk radio from advertisers. And that's for a simple reason. All conservative talk radio has to offer America is hate and division. Hate and division. That's all Rush Limbaugh does. Rush Limbaugh is not a fucking journalist. I have more journalistic integrity in the stuff I coughed up a few minutes ago when I talked too much than Rush Limbaugh has in his entire body.
Especially
His entire
penis,
ample
Adam.
body.
That's number 4, I think? Number 4.
Three.
Number 4! I thought we had 2 before my joke. Okay, we'll say 3. Yes, conservative talk radio is going down the tubes. And I think that as advertisers leave conservative talk radio, this is going to be really open up opportunities for people like Stephanie Miller, Randy Rhodes, Bill Press. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're nationally syndicated. Liberal talk radio is actually doing really well. The problem is the deck is stacked against it. Basically, the conservatives will, you have people who will buy up all the radio stations and change their format just to keep liberal talk radio off the air. That happened in Florida. Stephanie Miller had a lot of ratings down in Florida. Someone bought up her station, changed it to a sports format with a 0 rating. They're hemorrhaging money at the station, but they're keeping it on that format because they don't want a liberal on the air. And so, I mean, is this good? John Kendall, what do you think?
I mean, it kind of shows, like, people, it may seem like people are getting tired of all the hate and shit, and people just need to sit down and fucking think for themselves instead of having some bro with a small penis tell them how to feel about life. That's 4.
That's 4, but I
Never gets old.
But, I mean, like, that's like Glenn Beck. There was a reason Fox News pulled him, because
he was
people
hemorrhaging
were
money.
tuning out of their hate-filled speech, and that's why these things take a hit, because people were tired of all, oh my god, gay people getting married, and like, oh, our president's black, we gotta do something about this. No. Sit down, think for yourself, people. Come on.
Damn right.
Good job.
Also, Rush Limbaugh has a small penis.
Anywho, we're at the bottom of the first segment. Great job, guys. We're actually, we got the show started on time. No technical difficulties. Knock on wood, or fake wood, particle board. I think this new software I'm using is going to work really well. Let's hope. Anywho, we will be back in a few moments. We're going to go to break. Coming up for this break, your music is a remix of the frog theme from Chrono Trigger called What Hast Thou Done With This? I really like this. I hope you will too. This is Mike Check Radio with Adam Hebert. Special guest co-host John Kendall of the Missoula, Montana Bureau, Wes Smith out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. We will be right back.
Who do you think you are, anyway?
If I gave you my name, you'd get it dirty.
You're listening to Adam Hebert and Mike Check Radio.
A World of Progress Radio is thinking about progressive as not right or left, wrong or right, political or social, but simply a heartfelt commitment to finding solutions that are win-win for us all. AWOP Radio's mission is to bring you the voices of ordinary people who are creating, documenting, and living extraordinary positive change. Catch the show live Fridays at 10 p.m. Eastern at awopradio.com, iTunes, or subscribe to the podcast via your favorite podcatcher. Listen on demand at Stitcher Radio, or pick up the AWOP Radio Android app for your smartphone at the Amazon App Store. A better world for all is possible. Join AWOP Radio host Kim G every week for interviews with people just like you, creating real positive change for the good of all.
You never know who or what you'll hear when you listen to The Nicole Sandler Show at RadioOrNot.com.
Alan Grayson, you're the best. We love you. We need you back in Congress, and I'm here to do whatever I can to make that happen in my own little way.
Thanks. I enjoyed the time with you personally. I wish that the listeners could get to know you the way that I know you and understand that you're the same person off the air as you are on the air. It's not some kind of shtick. You really do care greatly about all the important things in life, and you understand that sometimes people just need a helping hand.
Yeah.
And that the world, as John Kennedy said, doesn't start out there. You have to make it that way.
The Nicole Sandler Show, live Monday through Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, or podcast anytime at RadioOrNot.com.
The body of a child, the brain of a genius, the 2000 IQ Killjoy Detective.
It's Adam Hebert with Mike Check Radio.
And we are back, at least according to everything I'm seeing and Flash Media Live. Joining me for this... excuse me. Joining me is our special guest co-host, John Kendall, out of Missoula, Montana.
Hello.
And Wes Smith out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. We got a Wes. But no, seriously, thank you for joining us.
Of course.
You know. And just a reminder, I still do not have details about what we're going to be doing election night. I do know Kenny Pick is planning something. I just don't know what. He'll tell me when he wants me. I've already told him, you know, I'm taking Wednesday off class. It's already been approved of. Because I have the best politics professor. Because I talked to her, I said, you know, I'm thinking about taking the day after election day off because I'm covering the election live with my friend. And she said, okay, your credit's good here. I was like, that was easy. So yeah, as soon as we have details, I will have those. And I just remind everyone that tomorrow, one time only, Kenny Pick will be live out of WVKO. It'll be a special, one time only, Sunday night live edition of Turn Up the Night with Kenny Pick. So please check that out. That's WVKO 1580 out of Columbus, Ohio. I'll be calling in at one point, not as a guest, just as a caller. And you can listen to that online. TuneIn Radio, I believe iHeartRadio. We'll try to get some details about that. So, who wants to talk about that pussy Todd, or not Todd, Tag Romney?
Oh, we're talking about pussy now, something I can get behind.
All right.
Let me tell you, when I heard this, I was upset. Look, let's be honest. The right wing has a fundamental disrespect of President Obama, and they always talk about you respect the presidency, you respect the presidency. They don't respect the presidency unless one of their own is in it. You know, it's like Bush. If you dared speak up against him, you were a terrorist. You were un-American because, oh my God, he's the president. How dare you? If I made a George W. Bush looks like a monkey joke, even though that's actually true, he did look like a fucking monkey, I would get, like, you know, hate mail up the wazoo. And in fact, I would have to find other places other than my wazoo to store my hate mail. But it's okay to hate on President Obama. It's okay. And here's Tag Romney talking about his reaction to the epic ass whooping his old man got. Take a listen.
Okay, I'm going to ask something I know a lot of people want to know. or at least I do. What is it like for you to hear the President of the United States call your dad a liar? How do you react to that?
Jump out of your seat and you want to rush down the debate stage and take a swing at him, but you can't do that because, first because there's a lot of Secret Service between you and him, but also because this is the nature of the process. That they're going to try to do everything they can do to try to make my dad into someone he's not. We signed up for it. We got to kind of sit there and take our punches, and then send him right back the other way.
How's your mom and dad holding up? I mean,
I'm sorry, I thought I ended the clip there. Yeah. He wants to punch the President of the United States, and the only thing that's stopping him is the Secret Service. Now, I'm going to say this. If I were him, I wouldn't be worried about the Secret Service. In fact, I'd be looking towards the Secret Service. He'd have to get past Michelle first. I've seen those guns of hers. She's got, good forearms. She would kick Tag's ass. She would beat him to within an inch of his life, and the Secret Service would have to take her into custody. But I also, on one hand, as a liberal, I am generally loathed. I generally don't like violence, but I think in this case, Tag might have to receive a visit from the Secret Service, who will explain to him the importance of kneecaps. Take that as you will. The fact of the matter is that I consider that a threat against the President of the United States, and he needs to be investigated, and he needs the shit beat out of him, I think. Sorry. If that were Bush, if I said that about Bush, for a fact I would have the fucking Secret Service knocking on my door right now as we broadcast. You know it, I know it, the audience knows it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Rightfully.
The Republican Party has, this huge boner, except for Rush Limbaugh, for violence. Yes.
Yeah. Number 5, I think.
Huh?
Number 5, I think.
Well done.
We need a counter.
But, I don't, violence doesn't solve anything. I mean, it's oh yeah, he called my dad out for being what he is,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go down and whoop his ass. No. Just shut the fuck up and just...
What is it with Republicans?
What a classless thing to even say, Well, I thought the rich were supposed to be the classy people.
Well, they are classy with a K.
Ugh.
We're classy with a C. They're classy with a KKK. But I do. This is a long distance dedication to Tag Romney.
Brave Sir Robin ran away. No! Bravely ran away, away.
I didn't!
When danger reared its ugly head, he bravely turned his tail. No! Yet brave Sir Robin turned about.
I didn't!
Gallantly he chickened out. Bravely taking
I never did!
He beat a very brave retreat.
Oh, lie!
Bravest of the brave Sir Robin.
I never!
And I do have this challenge to Tag Romney. Your father is a liar. He is a sociopath. He is a lunatic. There. I said it. Come at me, motherfucker! Come at me! I've got a bad back, pair of bad knees from working at Walmart, and I will still kick your rich punk ass. So bring it! Bring it!
Punk?
I believe the phrase is, Adam, come at me, bro. Keep calm and tag.
I mean, I will be, I think we all know how that fight would end. It would be...
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
So yeah, Tag. All my contact information, except for probably my phone number, is public information. Please feel free to email me about the time and place. I will be there. I'll make it easy on you. And I promise, I will not sit on you. I will kick your ass the old-fashioned way. And like I said, I'm about 280. I've got bad knees and a bad back from working at Walmart for 5.5 years. I will still take you down. Because we all know, Tag Romney, and I know I've been abusing the hell out of this clip, but...
Cowardly little biatch.
Let's be honest. He could say that shit because he knows it would never happen. He knows it.
Yeah.
He knows it. So, yeah. Tag Romney.
What a dick.
Yeah, what a dick. Thank you.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he's a big dick because... Oh, man, here it comes.
No, I don't think he... Actually, I will take that back. He's not a big dick because remember what we learned a couple weeks ago, and that is...
To be a man, you must have honor, and a penis!
So,
So wait,
he is a cowardly
little biatch.
So wait, Rush Limbaugh is not a man.
No, he isn't, because he lacks both honor and a penis. Look, the fact of the matter is, Mitt Willard. You know what? We need to stop calling him Mitt because Mitt isn't his name. It's Willard.
I agree. Mitt is not an acceptable name for a president. Mitt is an acceptable name for a first grader.
And
you want to be president? You're fucking Willard.
Let me point this out. Willard is the name of a movie character who hangs out with rats. So my question is, Willard, which inspired which? Did you take your name from the character, or did you give your name to the character?
What if Willard is a documentary about Mitt's life?
That's possible. That is possible. And actually, the remake, I've seen the remake of Willard, and it's actually pretty good. Stars Crispin Glover as Willard, and it has R. Lee Ermey, famous right-wing tool, but I still respect R. Lee Ermey as an actor. Because he actually can act, unlike, say, Jon Voight, who is both a right-wing asshole and a horrible actor. Have you ever noticed how the right-wing, we have all the good talent. We have Bruce Springsteen. They've got Ted Nugent. When's the last time Ted Nugent was known for a song? 1978?
Wasn't 78? It Smoking in the Boys' Room?
I'd have to check. I mean, Bruce Springsteen, however, has a new album this year, Wrecking Ball. And I've heard John Fugelsang. I'm sorry, I know I'm always talking up John Fugelsang, but I love the guy. If I were gay, I would ask him to marry me. And I wish I had the sort of clout to get the man on my show. Unfortunately, it's never going to happen. Because he works for Current now, and Al Gore's like, I don't think you should talk to that Adam Hebert. How was my Al Gore impression?
Not too bad.
Thank you. I tried. That guy
Adam?
is a bit too vulgar.
The last song that Ted Nugent was really known for was Cat Scratch Fever.
Good.
Which was in
let's see, in the 1970s, let's see. 1977.
So
let's taste in the balls.
Oops. Let's review Bruce Springsteen, Wrecking Ball, one of the best albums of his career. In 2012, the guy is 64. And then we've got Ted Nugent, or Turd Nugget, as Kenny Pitt calls him, who the last time he cracked the charts was in, what was it, 78?
77.
77. Yeah. Or look at, like, voice actors, or actors in general. We've got, Scarlett Johansson.
I'd get Scarlett Johansson, giggity, giggity.
Let me tell you, I think she was hot as Black Widow in the Avengers.
Oh God, I know. Yeehaw.
And they've got Victoria Jackson, the woman whose voice could strip wallpaper.
Who, when she was on Saturday Night Live, you could see Phil Hartman and Norm Macdonald restraining themselves every moment they were on camera from just slapping the shit out of her.
Yeah.
The last thing she did was Nermal on Garfield and Friends.
Oh.
The last movie John Voight did was Transformers. Now that was a suck salad.
That was a bad one.
I mean,
yeah, boy.
I mean, I appreciate Michael Bay getting, Peter Cullen to do Optimus, but you really couldn't get the original voice for Megatron back. Whose name was that? Pete Welker? He also does Nibbler on Futurama. He's been doing voices. He's been around since I was a baby. Pete Welker, I think. And Kenny Pick had this to say about Tag Romney. I found this so fucking amusing. I was like, Kenny, I've got to share this. I'm giving you credit. So, Kenny, you have credit. Kenny Pick says, I think Brainy Smurf could kick Tag Romney's ass.
Papa Smurf says.
I think Papa Smurf could take him. Papa Smurf
Definitely.
was old, bad back, questionable constitution, definite height problem.
And he's named Tag. I mean, seriously.
That's another thing. Get a real fucking name, you douche. Adam is a real name. Adam is a real name. Wes is a real name. John is a real name. This is just... it's these stupid designer baby names that people just pull out of their ass. Pisses me off. Like, you've got people giving their kids adjectives as names.
Oof.
And it's just like,
Yeah.
no!
Whatever happened to good old-fashioned names like John?
Or Adam. Or Wes.
Or Adam, yes.
Yeah.
Wes, not so much, no.
Now, is it Wesley or just Wes? Just out of curiosity.
We're both Wesley, and do not ask me how we found each other. Pure coincidence.
It was probably the Returners.
Well, it was crazy.
Do you guys go back pre-Returners?
I don't know. Well, we're pre. Yeah, we're like kindergarten.
Well, that's how you ended up in kindergarten together.
I can name like two other Wesleys. Wesley Clark and Wesley Snipes. And yeah, don't ask me how two managed to meet each other. I do not know.
Tax cheat Wesley Snipes.
Of course.
You cheat on your taxes, Wes?
No, I just got married. I can't anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. My condolences.
I do have a little something I want to play. This is from, just to get us pumped up because of the epic ass-kicking we saw. This is from Audrey in Minneapolis. She regularly contributes audio to the Stephanie Miller Show, and this is Barack the Vote.
We have to be the one to say he's got a smile like the sun, handsome and grand, and oh, he sings like Al Green. Yes, he does. He's
And I was given permission to play that as long as I mentioned, it was from Audra in Minneapolis. And she actually just got to marry her partner, so congratulations. She, I guess Minneapolis allows, has marriage equality, so congratulations, Audra. And thank you very much for generously allowing me to play that piece. I really do appreciate it. And let me tell you, I am ready to go after this debate. Let me tell you, I didn't watch this until after because I was swamped with schoolwork. But I was talking to my friend War, who will be joining us after the next segment, and he's just like, is this the same Barack Obama? I mean, he totally, he just came, and I think that's a large part of the reason why Mitt Romney was just so fucking pissed.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because, and again, Mitt Romney strikes me as a very controlling personality. He's the boardroom type. And Chris Matthews had James Lipton. I didn't even know he was still around. I remember that he used to be a frequent target on Mystery Science Theater. He had James Lipton on discussing because part of being president is being an actor. So, James Lipton's like, yeah, this is the real Mitt, the boardroom bully. Speaking of bullies, before we go to break, let's get to that Mark Hamill clip that I promised, shall we? Because he points that out too. And so here's Mark Hamill on there's going to be some from the debate, and then Mark Hamill will just react. And one of the things is that as he listens to this, and if you get the chance to watch, I'll see if I can find the link to the video. Just watch, because as he listens to how disrespectful Romney is being towards President Obama, his look just sours and gradually gets worse and worse. He just, look, Mitt Romney's a disrespectful ass. Let's be honest. So here is Young Turks with Mark Hamill.
All right, one more clip for you guys. This is when they talk about oil drilling leases. Let's look.
You cut permits and licenses on federal land and federal waters in half.
Not true, Governor Romney.
So how much did you cut them by?
Not true.
By how much did you cut them by then?
Governor, we have actually produced more oil.
No. How much did you cut licenses and permits on federal land and federal waters?
Governor Romney, here's what we did. There were a whole bunch of oil companies.
No, I had a question, and the question was, how much did you cut them by?
You want me to answer
How much did you cut them by?
I'm happy to answer the question.
All right, and it is?
Here's what happened.
Whew. Yeah, Mark, does that cross the line? They're debating, they're fighting, but at the same time, one of them is president. Was that too disrespectful to the president?
Well, again, it's arguable. I mean, I'm not one for great decorum. I love the idea of an open debate, like in France, where they stand at a podium, there's no moderator, they just go at each other for a predetermined amount of time. But this sort of repeated, it's almost like harassment. The president's trying to get his answer together, and it's because it's not coming fast enough for the CEO. He says it again and again. What was that, 3 times in a row? Where it's arguably very disrespectful, patronizing beyond all belief.
It almost seemed like I wanted to say to him, he doesn't work for you, right?
Yeah.
So last thing, Jay.
He didn't want to make it as a point to get the specifics. He wanted to again set a tone and show I'm controlling this.
Exactly.
I'm telling him, look, you're not going to have any specifics. He didn't want to actually answer.
Of course not.
To get it.
Right. And overall, I'm with Mark. I want a free for all. I think that he just came off looking bad on that one.
And give the guy a chance to get a word out. I mean, it didn't come back exactly the way he wanted it to sound. As JR said, he then repeats the question over and over. It's bullying of the highest degree, to me.
Hi, this is Jake Uger. To see more of the young...
I have an army.
We have Mike Check.
That's not it. Wrong one. Sorry. Nothing. I was trying to start the bed. So here's what we're going to do. Since we're up against the break, we're going to go to break as usual, and then we're going to come back, and I want you guys to think about who would win in a French-style debate where they just go at each other. No rules, just fight! We will be back. This is Mike Check Radio with me, Adam Hebert. Wes Carskadden is on leave for the weekend, but we do have Wes Smith out of our Chattanooga, Tennessee Bureau, and John Kendall out of our Missoula, Montana Bureau. And coming up, War. What good is he for? Everything. That's right. Roar, the Republican guy, the Republican friend of this show, in half an hour. It's going to be fun. Anyway, we will be right back. Your music for this break is a remix of the boss battle theme from Final Fantasy IV. Enjoy.
We have Mike Check Radio with Adam Hebert. The More Me Show with DJ Downtown and Eddie Herradura. Live from our nation's capital, every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern, with hilariously scathing inches from the Beltway analysis of this week's political and social developments. The More Me Show at ProgressiveBlendRadio.com and RadioOrNot.com. Hi, this is Kenny Pick from Turn Up the Night. Here are some of the hijinks you can expect from my show.
Hey, McCain was born in Panama.
Yeah, McCain was born in Panama, but, you know, there we go.
And they were fine with that.
Well, he was born of American parents, and it was in a U.S. territory.
Yeah. McCain was actually grandfathered in, and what I mean by that is he was born an old man.
Yes. It was kind of like Benjamin Button.
It's Turn Up the Night with Kenny Pick, streaming live every Tuesday and Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern at Radio or Not, Talk Radio 1, Progressive Blend Radio, and KennyPick.com.
What the hell? Are you stuck at home on a Saturday night with nothing to do again?
I can't take it anymore!
Then join me, my co-hosts, and my guests every Saturday evening for Mic Check Radio with Adam Hebert. Okay. Together we'll discuss the big news of the week from entertainment and politics, talk about the issues that are on your mind, and hey, we'll even talk about general stupidity and jackassery from the American right.
You stupid jackass!
So join me every Saturday evening, 6 to 9 p.m. Central at my Ustream home, Mic Check Radio. Come on in, it'll be loads of fun.
Gee, I sure hope there's a happy ending. I love a happy ending.
And now, live on your computer machine, it's Adam Hebert with Mic Check Radio.
Fuck yeah!
You know, Captain, every year of my life, I grow more and more convinced that the wisest and best is to fix our attention on
Mic Check Radio. Radio.
If you'll just take the time to look at it.
Yeah, some guy, McConnell.
Hey, it's Mic Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
And we are back with special guest co-hosts, Wes Smith of Chattanooga, Tennessee Bureau.
Hello.
And John Kennel of the Missoula, Montana Bureau.
Hello.
We're just lousy with bureaus. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. The more the merrier, I say. So going back to what I posed. No sound? Someone's not getting sound. Chat, is it just Geoponed, or... Because I've got sound going out.
I hear you fine.
I hear you good, too.
My mic, my mic is on. I don't know what's going on. Let me check I guess I'll have to... son of a bitch. Yeah. I think the problem is with you, Geoponed. Let me check. I'm logging into the chat right now. Yeah, I've got sound. So the problem looks like it's on your end. Nothing. Sorry. Anywho, so going back to the question I posed, because Mark Hamill says he wants a French-style debate. No holds barred. No moderator. They just go at each other. I think that would actually be pretty lopsided, don't you? Who do you think would win? Who do you think would win, John? Romney versus Obama, French-style debate, no holds barred. They just go at each other.
I think Barack Obama would, but the bigger question I have is, what would Barack Obama's finisher be called?
Good question, John. I think it'd be like, Captain America's Final Justice. Final Justice! Yeah, I've got... Okay, so something weird's going on here. I think... look, let's be fair. Not fair, let's be honest. Barack Obama's a smart dude. He knows that if he comes off as super aggressive, the next day the mainstream media and conservative media, remember, the two are generally different. I think the mainstream media is corporate, conservative is just propaganda. But the mainstream media would be out there, oh my God, it was an angry black man on stage. You know.
Yeah, it's definitely worth remembering that at all times and in every way, it's easy to forget, but Barack Obama is operating at a handicap simply by virtue of being a black man. He really is.
When did this happen? Like, when did Barack Obama become black? Holy crap, I need to check the issue some more, man. Like, when I went in there and voted, man, it was like, oh, Barack Obama sounds like a white name, but...
In case you haven't noticed, he's black.
Oh my God!
That's a very popular clip on Stephanie Miller, and I don't know where it's from, but yeah, he just, in case you didn't notice, he's black. I didn't notice either. You know, I guess I'm colorblind, or maybe all blind. Sometimes I wonder. But yeah, I mean, no question. I mean, even if, you know, Mitt Romney could lie all he wanted, Barack Obama is just going to come out and swing as hard as possible, and he will win. I mean, the only reason why Mitt Romney won, and I use air quotes because I don't think he won, I think he stole it. He stole it. Because he stole about 20 minutes of speaking time that was rightfully President Obama's. And that's actually a debate technique called the Gish Gallop, where you just say as much untrue shit as possible, and you know your opponent can't answer at all. And so he looks bad for it. Whereas you look strong because you're saying all this shit with confidence, and there's a reason why Mitt Romney's so confident. It's because the man is a sociopath. He can lie with a straight face.
I think Romney might sincerely believe the bullshit he says, unlike most of these guys. I really think that might be how he does it, how he flips so easily and so rapidly.
But that's also a trademark of sociopathy. That's also a trademark of sociopathy, though.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I mean, it was Rachel Maddow was making the point. The whole thing in the second debate with the Libya, you know, with Romney getting caught in that Libya trap of saying, oh, well, Obama didn't say terror, it was an act of terror, blah, 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 all that stuff. That was the inevitable result of this bubble that Republicans exist in. Because what Mitt Romney was saying was true in the Republican bubble. You know, they have this Barack Obama who doesn't acknowledge an act of terror as an act of terror. You know, it doesn't matter that the truth, you know, the demonstrable truth is that he did.
Right. Well, here...
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
That's Republicans. But we do have that. I was going to save this, but this is the Rose Garden, September 12th, which I'm no expert. I'm actually pretty stupid when it comes to time and math. But as far as I can tell, September 12th comes directly after September 11th. We'll get some expert of advice on this. Just, you know, highest standards possible, right? You know, we have high standards on this program, so I will consult a calendar expert as soon as I can find one. But this is September 12th, and out of the Rose Garden.
What I want all of you to know is that we are going to bring those who killed our fellow Americans to justice. I want people around the world to hear me, to all those who would do us harm. No act of terror will go unpunished. It will not dim the light of the values that we proudly present to the rest of the world. No act of violence shakes the resolve of the United States of America.
I mean, yeah. I mean, so you got people on Fox News saying shit. I think this is Megyn Kelly.
There was no confusion about whether or not there was a military-like strike against our ambassador.
No, I think that's... Oh, no, wait. I think that is. I think that is the right clip. My mistake.
There was no confusion.
At the break, I'm not going to carry you over. But act of terror, declaring something an act of terror, does not necessarily mean you are declaring it a terror attack. I mean, any...
Oh, Jesus Christ, that woman is dumb as a sack of hammers. No, wait, I'm sorry. I just offended sacks of hammers everywhere. That woman is stupid as George W. Bush. I mean...
What is so infuriating about this? This is classic conservative technique. This is Overton window shit, where you can't win the argument, so you move the parameters of what's acceptable to even be talking about.
Right.
What we should be talking about is whether these are demonstrably relatable things. It can be both a planned act of terrorism and about an uprising, or not an uprising, a demonstration against this horrible, stupid video. It can be both.
Yeah,
but we're not even having that discussion because we're stuck arguing whether he said terrorism or not. They've drug us down to their level, making us argue such an insipid fucking point in the first place.
That's because they think they have the upper hand on the issue of national security and terrorism, because they have in their head that Bush was this brilliant guy when, and it's like, you got Republicans saying there was no terror attacks during George W. Bush's watch. Hello, 9/11, fucker. Yeah. But no, I mean, again, it's this, you know.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
But look, here's the thing. I don't expect the president to have all the answers the very next day. I don't. There's stuff going on. The people in the protest were saying, we're out here because of the video. Are they going to say, we're here because we want to kill one of your ambassadors on 9/11? Are you really saying you expect them to be entirely honest? Is Fox News saying, yeah, we expect terrorists to be entirely truthful about their agenda?
Well, it just goes to show, like, the only way that you can battle a Republican is with cold, hard facts.
No, you can't. Well, actually can, but again...
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, my mistake.
But I said it before. Facts are to a Republican what the cross is to a vampire. If you show Republican facts, they will catch on fire and die. I've seen it happen. Unfortunately, I was like, I don't care enough to get a fire extinguisher. You're on your own. Facts are to a Republican what the cross is to a vampire. It literally scares them because they can't control facts. Facts are immutable. Evolution is a fact. We don't quite understand how it works, but the fact that it happens is a fact, and that scares them to death. Because,
I'm going to use the old Bill O'Reilly meme. It's like, evolution, you just can't explain that.
Sun goes up, sun goes down.
How
does it do that? I don't know. Can't explain that.
Fucking thing
just
sucks.
Does. Bill O'Reilly's like,
fucking thing sucks.
It disproves the Bible. That fucking thing sucks.
The funny thing is, like, I can disprove evolution, I can prove that evolution exists by this object that's in my hand, Pokemon White version 2.
But while we're on Bill O'Reilly,
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
So yeah, I mean, they live in their, I mean, Jesus Christ. So let's talk about Tommy Thompson's son. I don't know if y'all heard about this.
Oh my lord.
But again, remember what we said, what we talked about, how there's this fundamental lack of respect for the presidency. That to a Republican, you only respect the presidency when there's a Republican president. And if you think they wouldn't be saying this shit if the Democrat were white, wake up. They don't, look, I mean, yeah, it pisses them off even more that's a black Democratic president, but just the idea of a Democratic president pisses them off to no end. So here is Jason Thompson, Tommy Thompson's son in Wisconsin, and I don't understand how this fucker is running even with Tammy Baldwin, because Tammy Baldwin has a record. She's been in the House of Representatives for ages. Tommy Thompson was in the Bush administration. I think, I'm going to go with Tammy Baldwin. Even if I weren't a liberal Democrat, I'd be like, the Bush administration was utterly incompetent in every respect. Why the fuck would you put a member of Bush's cabinet in the Senate? But anyway, here is Jason Thompson.
We have an opportunity to save America, to hire Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan, fire Barack Obama and Joe Biden.
We have the opportunity to send President Obama back to Chicago or Kenya.
It's funny because it's racist. It's funny because it's racist.
Fuck Chicago. Fuck Chicago and the East Coast and the West Coast and every big city and Florida and we love America.
Yeah. So first of all,
are you going to be a douchebag?
Second, I finally found it. Second of all, he later said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know what I was saying. It was an unscripted comment." If you watch the video, oh my God, it is so transparently obvious that it was planned. He raises his eyebrow, that telegraphing eyebrow. Here comes the zinger. Get ready to laugh. He has that annoying little smirk Republicans do when they think they're being cute and funny. You're not.
When they're talking to their hateful little base.
And the sad thing is this Tommy Thompson is running even with Tammy Baldwin. I don't get that. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. If this were a regular election, we didn't have Citizens United, there is no fucking way Barack Obama wouldn't be, 5 or 6 points ahead. The only reason Mitt Romney is a viable candidate is because the Supreme Court has done their best to rig the game.
And each Coach Koch brother is worth, what, like 50 million of us?
Not even more than that. Because they've got like 200 billion between the two of them.
It's fucking insane.
God.
It's like...
It just shows, money can buy your way into anything.
But it can't buy you class.
No, it obviously can't. I mean, it can buy all the 100-year-old age scotch, but it can't buy you class enough to enjoy it.
Snark says Tammy Baldwin was running in a Republican area. Wisconsin is not a Republican state. It's not a Republican state. I'm sorry. It might be a little red. It might be purplish, but it is not a red state. And the fact that Mitt Romney hasn't pulled ahead in Wisconsin, he's down by like 4 points on average, shows just how big a flop Paul Ryan was. He's energizing the base, but if you're worried about your base in August, September, and October, you've got serious issues. And I think he was counting on Citizens United to neutralize those issues, that he could just bury President Obama with lies and win the election. And here's the thing you need to know about Mitt Romney and his son, Tag! Sorry. They own stock in a company that, Bain owns, and remember, Mitt Romney is a majority shareholder in Bain. He doesn't run it, but he owns a majority of shares. He owns Bain. And Bain owns a company that owns voting machines in Ohio. And I'm going to ask War about this because we've been over this before. War is a Republican. He's an old school Republican, the Eisenhower, and I want to ask him, if Mitt Romney wins Ohio and it looks like it's because of these rigged because these voting machines like Bush in 2004, are you going to be lecturing me about supporting Mitt Romney? You know, or are you going to say if I'm going to win with honor and integrity? I think I'm going to be honest. I think Ward's going to be with me. I think he's going to say, I would rather win with honor and integrity. Because, let's, look, the average American, most Americans, I'm going to be honest, they're not listening, so I don't give a duck fuck. They're as stupid as a sack of hammers. They don't care.
Adam.
Yes?
Once again, you're being insensitive to those sack of hammers.
I'm sorry, I'll go into the penalty box. But seriously, that's the only excuse for why they're even thinking about putting Mitt Romney in after 8 years of Bush. There's no other excuse. There's no other logical reason for that.
Let me tell you how much respect I have for the honor of the average Republican voter. Right next door to my county here in Tennessee, we have a guy named Scott Desjardins. You've probably heard of him. This kind of made some waves in the past 2 weeks. Scott Desjardins, stridently anti-abortion. I mean, no exceptions at all. Rape, incest, whatever. Scott Desjardins is a doctor, and 8, maybe 10 years ago, he advised a patient who he was having an affair with. I mean, of course, he's a Republican. Yeah. We expect him to be having an affair. But he told pretty much a patient he was having an affair with to have an abortion. Scott Desjardins is 4 points ahead right now. Now, admittedly, this is from like a 15, 20-point lead in a very Republican state. But he's still probably going to win. Yeah. Now, if the Republican voters honestly had the courage of their convictions, no matter how wrong-headed and fucking medieval those convictions are, if they truly had the courage of their convictions, there is no fucking way Scott Desjardins would have a chance. Because that is by Republican logic, he's a murderer, is he not? He just attempted to have his mistress murder his child, right?
Well, but this goes back to what I've said about Republicans before. It's always party before principle, whereas with liberals, it's always principle before party.
Totally. We admitted Obama lost. We hold his ass accountable for drone strikes and shit like that. Them, it's just like, well, okay, I guess I got to swallow it. Mitt Romney, I didn't want him. I wanted Gingrich or whatever, but I'll take Romney, I guess, just because he's not Obama.
Vote for him anyway.
Fuck that.
Yeah, exactly. It's always party before principle, party before country, and I'm going to be honest that if America votes for Mitt Romney, they are going to deserve what they're going to get, which is going to be at least a recession and war with Iran, if not worse.
But they'll just blame it on Obama.
Yeah, well, and let's remind our Republican friends, even if Mitt Romney wins, Barack Obama's only had one term. He can run again, motherfuckers. And I think he will. I think if he loses this election, he's going to go back to Chicago, he's going to bide his time, he's going to raise money, and he's going to do to Mitt Romney what Mitt Romney did to him, and just flood him with money.
He's going to win.
I wish I had that confidence. I want him to win, but when I see he's ahead by only 1 point in Ohio, I start to sweat a little. Anywho, we'll be back. Next segment, Political Science Theater 3000! We're going to do the debate live with War. And this break is, of course, the Green News Report. So, enjoy.
Yep, there's no denying it.
Come again.
I can't help it. I love
Mike Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
It's Thursday, October 18, 2012.
So he's got the oil and gas part, but he doesn't have the clean energy part.
I want to make sure we use our oil, our coal, our gas, our nuclear, our renewables.
The second presidential debate, debunking and fact-checking on energy. Plus,
having an energy conversation without talking about climate is like talking about smoking and not talking about cancer.
A no-show at the debate, climate change.
All of that and more straight ahead. From BradBlog.com, I'm Brad Friedman.
And I'm Desi Doyen.
Stand by for 6 minutes of independent green news, politics, analysis, and snarky comment.
This has not been Mr. Oil or Mr. Gas or Mr. Coal.
Speaking of which, where's Mr. Freeze?
I'll be back.
Oh yeah, there he is. This is your Green News Report.
The Iceman cometh.
Okay, Des, my cold persists, so my apologies for that. But another interesting debate this week, and right off the bat, it was all about energy and drilling and oil and more oil.
Oh, indeed. The candidates hit hard and heavy on energy at the second presidential town hall debate at Hofstra University.
Yeah, but no talk about climate change once again.
Nope, absolutely nothing, but we'll have more on that in a moment. Of course, there was lots of misleading stats and outright false claims. Now, there are too many to cover all of them right here, so please check out our website, greennews.bradblog.com, for a full energy-specific fact check and debunking. First, the very premise of the first question about how the administration can lower gas prices is just wrong. It's a fact that the price of oil is set on the global market, and there is almost nothing that any president can do to affect the price of gas. Obama knows this, and so does Governor Romney. But instead, they made it into a contest for who loves fossil fuels more.
We still continue to open up new areas for drilling. We continue to make it a priority for us to go after natural gas.
More drilling, more permits and licenses. We're going to bring that pipeline in from Canada.
We're actually drilling more on public lands. We made the largest investment in clean coal technology.
I don't think anyone really believes that you're a person who's going to be pushing for oil and gas and coal. I will fight for oil, coal, and natural gas.
I'm all for pipelines. I'm all for oil production.
And both Obama and Romney pandered on gas prices, pretending that more drilling will have an effect on lowering gas prices. That's just not true. Romney's also just plain wrong that drilling on public lands is down. Fact checkers say that Romney was cherry-picking statistics. Drilling is actually higher on average on public lands now than during the Bush administration. Plus, neither one of them mentioned solar and wind projects on public lands.
And there's been, in fact, a huge increase in wind projects on federal lands. 0 projects on federal lands before Obama took office to, I think, 16 different projects now.
Yes, 16 different solar projects in just the last 4 years. Obama also pointed out that major difference on federal investment in the U.S. clean energy industry. You know, and our investment right now is already paltry compared to China and Germany.
So he's got the oil and gas part, but he doesn't have the clean energy part. And if we are only thinking about tomorrow or the next day and not thinking about 10 years from now, we're not going to control our own economic future. Because China, Germany, they're making these investments. And I'm not going to cede those jobs of the future to those countries. I expect those new energy sources to be built right here in the United States.
Now, Romney says he cares about renewable energy.
I want to make sure we use our oil, our coal, our gas, our nuclear, our renewables. I believe very much in our renewable capabilities. Ethanol, wind, solar will be an important part of our energy mix.
But Romney has panned clean energy jobs and the clean energy industry before.
We all like wind and solar, but you can't drive a car with a windmill on it.
And his stated policies and white papers call for eliminating federal investment in clean energy, including the crucial wind energy production tax credit that's set to expire at the end of this year. And Romney keeps billions in taxpayer subsidies for oil. And then there was Romney's bogus accusations on the decline of coal in the U.S. Power companies are driving that by switching to cheaper, more profitable natural gas. That's the free market at work. Not at the debate was Green Party presidential candidate Jill Stein.
The one candidate who had no problem mentioning the word climate.
Climate is in meltdown.
Yes, she has a true progressive agenda on climate change and clean energy, and she was actually arrested outside the debate forum for trying to get in.
How dare her, a presidential candidate on 85% of the country's ballots, trying to participate in the presidential debate?
I know, it's crazy. Also not at the debate, climate change. I think MSNBC's Chris Hayes said it best.
Having an energy conversation without talking about climate is like talking about smoking and not talking about cancer. You can't talk about it unless you talk about what the stakes are for the climate. Who is the more pro-coal candidate is talking about who is going to most hastily speed our headlong flight of disaster.
Poll after poll shows that Americans are finally grasping the connection between global warming and extreme weather events, and that climate change is a winning campaign wedge issue. Yet they ignore it.
For more on our headlong flight of disaster, please check out our website at greennews.bradblog.com. While you're there, please consider purchasing a copy of Greg Palast's Billionaires and Ballot Bandits, along with his Election Files DVD. That's our new premium at bradblog.com, and we rely on you, not corporations or foundations, to stay on your public airwaves. From bradblog.com, I'm Brad Friedman.
And I'm Desi Doyen.
And this has been your Green News Report.
I'm missing you. Tell me why the road turns. I'm missing you.
Hi, this is Kenny Pick from Turn Up the Night. Here are some of the hijinks you can expect from my show.
That right-wing Republican from Texas was only helping Dennis because he thought Dennis would be easier for Joe the plumber to beat than
Wow. Yeah, I mean, seriously, a pet rock would have been better candidate than Joe the plumber. I think he might actually have been a pet rock before he was a non-plumber. So, but he was a union pet rock, never mind. Turn Up the Night with Kenny Pick, streaming live every Tuesday and Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern at Radio or Not, Talk Radio 1, Progressive Blend Radio, and KennyPick.com. If you want talk, go to the other guys. If you want conversation, go to Ray Medeiros at USAProgressive.com.
Corporations are people, my friend. We can raise taxes, and of course they are. Everything corporations earn ultimately goes to people.
Corporations are not people. Corporations are property. The last time people were property in this country, we fought a civil war.
USAProgressive.com. The conversation starts here.
Here we go again. I demand more.
I want it, I need it, and I'm gonna have it.
Mike Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
Oh, I'm trying to lower my seat a little. I can't find my thing. There we go. Number 7. Okay. We should have sound. Good. I just wanted to point this out. This is breaking news. Literally breaking news. Iran agrees to nuclear negotiations with the United States. In other words, Barack Obama's foreign policy has failed. If this is true, Mitt Romney has already lost the debate on Monday, because the debate is foreign policy. If this pans out, if this is true, Mitt Romney has lost the debate. Now, does this mean he's going to lose the election? Probably not. I know, Wes, you think Barack Obama's going to win. I want him to win. I'm just saying, I don't think this is going to be a game changer. I think this is just going to be another, oh, look, Mitt Romney's wrong again. But we're still going to think about voting for him. You know. So, anywho, let's... Yep. So let's get war in, and then we'll go over what we're going to do. And, same form... Okay, I'll wait until war gets here. I hope he's paying attention. It's never a good sign when it keeps ringing. War, are you there? Oh, good, he's alive. Okay. Thank you for joining us, and I would be remiss if I didn't. So just to go over what we're gonna do. This is gonna be a debate. Last time we let people say stop. please, I'm not going to say you can't. I'm going to ask that you please limit it because I want to be done with this debate by the normal end of the show. No, wait. We want to be done with this. Yes, by the normal end of the show. And we'll do asshole of the week at the top of the normal final segment. We'll end a little early. So, second presidential debate at Hofstra, and I just want wouldn't it be awesome if Mitt Romney went into this saying, like in Star Wars,
evacuate in our moment of triumph? I think you overestimate their chances.
And then when Barack Obama says, "Please proceed, Governor," that's the moment when the Death Star explodes. I'm gonna add that to my box as soon as I can cut out. I didn't have the time to edit this down, so I was like, we're just gonna do the whole debate. But no, thank you for joining us, War. And this is kind of like Whose Line Is It Anyway? The rules are made up and the points don't matter. Well, that's how Mitt Romney plays. So here is let's get this started.
Candidates will oblige by keeping their answers.
Wait. Again.
Oh, I skipped too far.
Wait. Again.
Come on.
We change our wait.
Come on. I said play, damn you.
Candidates will oblige by keeping their answers concise and on point.
And just
each candidate
throw out
has
whatever
as much
you want.
as 2 minutes to respond to a common question, and there will be a 2-minute follow-up. The audience here in the hall
How's that
will
for
agree to
volume?
be polite and attentive, no cheering or booing or outbursts of any sort. We will
Okay,
set
good.
aside that agreement just this
Lower
week
it
to
too
welcome
high, too
President
low?
Barack Obama and Governor Mitt Romney.
Okay, good. They're just coming out. They're like, asshole, bastard. It's not a secret that Barack Obama does not like Mitt Romney because Mitt Romney. And Barack Obama strikes me as the sort of guy,
Gentlemen,
he and Bush actually have gotten along pretty well. He doesn't hate people
I
easily.
want to get right to it.
At least that's my
Governor
impression.
Romney, as you know, you won the coin toss, so the first question will go to you. And I want to turn to a first-time voter, Jeremy Epstein, who has a question for you.
Mr. President, Governor Romney, as a 20-year-old college student, all I hear from professors, neighbors, and others is that when I graduate, I will have little chance to get employment. What can you say to reassure me, but more importantly, my parents, that I will be able to sufficiently support myself after I graduate?
Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate your question, and thank you for being here this evening, and to all of those from Nassau County here that have come, thank you for your time. Thank you to Hofstra University and to Candy Crowley for organizing and leading this event. Thank you, Mr. President, also for being part of this debate. Your question is one that's being asked by college kids all over this country. I was in Pennsylvania with someone who just graduated. This was in Philadelphia, and she said, I've got my degree. I can't find a job.
Notice
I've got 3
he's
part-time
specifically
jobs.
referencing Pennsylvania.
It's barely enough to pay for my food and pay for an apartment. I can't begin to pay back my student loans. So what we have to do is 2 things. We have to make sure that we make it easier for kids to afford college, and also make sure that when they get out of college, there's a job. When I was governor of Massachusetts, to get a high school degree, you had to pass an exam. If you graduated in the top quarter of your class, we gave you a John and Abigail Adams scholarship, 4 years tuition free to the college of your choice in Massachusetts. It's a public institution.
What about someone like me, Governor? What about someone like me who did poorly in high school but has a 3.8 GPA in college?
Afford school. But the key thing is to make sure you can get a job when you get out of school. And what's happened over the last 4 years has been very, very hard for America's young people. I want you to be able to get a job. I know what it takes to get this economy going. With half of college kids graduating this year without a job, and without a college-level job, that's just unacceptable. And likewise, you've got more and more debt on your back. So more debt and less jobs. I'm going to change that. I know what it takes to create good jobs again. I know what it takes to make sure that you have the kind of opportunity you deserve. And kids across this country are going to recognize we're bringing back an economy. It's not going to be like the last 4 years. The middle class has been crushed over the last 4 years. And jobs have been
No,
too
the middle
scarce.
class was
I know what it
crushed
takes
by
to bring it
George
back.
W.
And
Bush.
I'm going to do that and make sure when you graduate. When do you graduate? 2014. When you come out in 2014, I presume I'm going to be president. I'm going to make sure you get a job. Jeremy,
No.
yeah, you bet.
What an arrogant motherfucker.
Jeremy, first of all, your future is bright. And the fact that you're making an investment in higher education is critical. Not just to you, but to the entire nation. Now, the most important thing
I
we can do
expect
is
the
to make
coronation
sure
to
that we are
proceed
creating
as
jobs
planned.
in this country, but not just jobs, good paying jobs, ones that can support a family. And what I want to do is
So Mitt
build
Romney's
on
plan is to get this
5
kid a job by
million
getting him a
jobs that we
job.
created
And
over the last
items
30
used in
months in
battle
private
are
sector
items
alone.
used in battle.
And there are a bunch of things that we can do to make sure your future is bright. Number one, I want to build manufacturing jobs.
War, feel free
in
to
this
chime
country
in.
again. You know, when
I see you there on
Governor
occasion.
Romney said we should let Detroit go bankrupt. I said we're going to bet on American workers and the American auto industry, and it's come surging back. I want to do that in industry.
GM number one
all
again.
across the country. And that means we change our tax code, so we're giving incentives to companies that are investing here in the United States and creating jobs here. It also means we're helping them and small businesses to export all around the world in new markets. Number two, we've got to make sure that we have the best education system in the world. And the fact that you're going to college is great, but I want everybody to get a great education. And we've worked hard to make sure that student loans are available for folks like you. But I also want to make sure that community colleges are offering slots for workers to get retrained for the jobs that are out there right now and the jobs of the future. Number three, we've got to control our own energy. You know, not only oil and natural gas, which we've been investing in, but also we've got to make sure we're building the energy source of the future. Not just thinking about next year, but 10 years from now, 20 years from now. That's why we invest in solar and wind and biofuels. Energy efficient cars. We've got to reduce our deficit, but we've got to do it in a balanced way. Asking the wealthy to pay a little bit more along with cuts so that we can invest in education like yours. And let's take the money that we've been spending on war over the last decade to rebuild America. Roads, bridges,
Why
schools.
is there
We
two
do those
broadcasters?
things, not only is your future going to be bright,
Oh,
but
there's two
America's
of me.
future is going to be bright as well.
Let me
And
ask
I
you
will
for
say-
a more immediate answer, beginning with Mr. Romney. Just quickly, what can you do? We're looking at a situation where 40% of the unemployed have been unemployed for 6 months or more. They don't have the 2 years that Jeremy has. What about those long-term unemployed who need a job right now?
Well, what you're seeing in this country is 23 million people struggling to find a job. And a lot of them, as you say, Candy, have been out of work for a long, long, long time. The president's policies have been exercised over the last 4 years, and they haven't put Americans back to work. We have fewer people working today than we had when the president took office.
Liar!
If the unemployment
Liar!
rate was 7.8%,
Unemployment is down. And Barack Obama is now a net job
People
creator.
who dropped out of the workforce, it would be 10.7%.
Oh,
We have not the
bullshit!
progress we need to make to put people back to work. Liar! To 5.7. It gets America 12 million.
I didn't hear
new
his
jobs
figure that he said.
in 4 years.
He said
it
that unemployment is 10.7%.
I thought it was below 8, wasn't it?
It is 7.8.
The president
Yeah.
said, which I want to
So he's pulling-
I knew when he reached below 8, that was a big deal.
we should take Detroit bankrupt.
But again, they want us. They're trying to. You know, they've always said that if Barack Obama can get it below 8%, that's good. Now they're having to walk that back because he got it below 8%.
Didn't you hear it's a conspiracy?
You took General Motors bankrupt.
I don't know. I'm looking at it from my situation when I graduated within Obama's reign, and most of my classmates didn't find jobs per their position. Not saying that's entirely Obama's fault or anything, but I liked his speech he made when he made it, 4 years ago, too. And it was very nice back then, and it sounds very nice right now.
I get what you're saying, but you got to remember he has also been working with a Congress that doesn't want to work with him. Their goal, their stated goal, isn't to help people get jobs. It's to get Barack Obama voted out.
Some of whom are Republicans.
Oh, I'm not saying it's all Obama's fault. It's just that lofty promises that I heard throughout this entire debate irritated the hell out of me.
I mean, how long did it take FDR to get get the
sure
get the
that
economy
folks at
back.
the top
You know,
play by a different
it
set of
was
rules.
it was 2 terms,
That's been his
wasn't it?
philosophy
It was 2
in
terms
private
before the
sector. That's
economy
been
was
his
really
philosophy as
going.
governor. That's been his philosophy as a presidential candidate. You
Compared to what, though?
make a lot of money and pay lower tax rates than somebody
I'm saying that it
who makes
took
a lot
two
less.
terms
You can
to
ship
start
jobs
getting
overseas
just to start
and get tax
getting
breaks
out of the
for it.
Great Depression.
You can invest in a company, bankrupt it, lay off the workers, strip away their
I mean, the
pensions,
fact
and you
that
still make money.
unemployment, as
That's
someone pointed out,
exactly the
proves
philosophy that we've seen in
he's
place
it's
for the last
working.
decade.
And
That's
if
what
his
squeezes
Jobs
middle-class
Act
families.
had gotten a
And
fair shot,
we have fought back for 4
it would
years
probably
to
be
get out of that mess.
6%.
The last thing we need to do is to go back to the very
I'm
same
pulling that number out of my
policies
ass. Just
that got us there.
full disclosure.
Mr. President, the next question is going to be for
That's
you.
a big
Here,
number,
Mr.
Adam.
Governor Romney, there'll be plenty of chances here to go on, but I want to...
Unless people fell out of the rules that get people as unemployed
Okay, we'll
and just went to just jobless instead.
Because I want to move you on to something that's sort of connected to cars here, and go over, and we want to get the answer from Bill
Oops.
Turcola.
Sorry about that. Is that me or is that just a pause?
Your Energy Secretary, Stephen
Okay.
Chu, has now been on record 3 times stating it's not policy of his department to help lower gas prices. Do you agree with Secretary Chu that this is not the job of the Energy Department?
The most important thing we can do is to make sure we control our own energy. So here's what I've done since I've been president. We have increased oil production to the highest levels in 16 years. Natural gas
And that is
production
true.
the highest it's been in decades.
Mm-hmm.
On the bubble.
We have seen increases in coal production and coal employment. But what
And
I've
see, this
also
is
said
one thing
is
I disagree
we
with
can't
Barack Obama in.
just
There is no
produce
such
traditional
thing as
sources of
clean
energy.
coal.
We've also
There
gotta
is
look at
coal
the
that
future.
is a little
That's why
less
we doubled
dirty,
fuel efficiency
but there is no
standards
such
by
thing as coal that is completely
in the
clean.
middle of the next decade, any car you buy, you're going to end up going twice as far.
Are you okay? Who is that?
That's why we've doubled clean energy production.
That was
like
me.
wind and solar.
Medic! Medic!
And all these things have contributed to us lowering our oil imports to the lowest levels in 16 years. Now, I want to
Don't
build on
forget,
that.
if you want to stop, say
And that
so,
means,
but
yes, we
please
still
ask
continue to open up
sparingly.
new areas
Very
for drilling.
sparingly.
We continue to make it a priority for us to go after natural gas. We've got potentially 600,000 jobs and 100 years worth of energy right beneath our feet with natural gas. And we can do
Yeah,
it
but we
in
have to
environmentally
frack to
sound
get
way.
it.
But we've also got to continue to figure out how we have efficient energy, because ultimately that's how we're going to reduce demand, and that's what's going to keep gas prices lower. Now, Governor Romney will say he's got an all-of-the-above plan, but basically his plan is to let the oil companies write the energy policies. So he's got the oil and gas part, but he doesn't have the clean energy part. And if we are only thinking about tomorrow or the next day and not thinking about 10 years from now, we're not going to control our own economic future. Because China, Germany, they're making these investments. And I'm not going to cede those jobs of the future.
Germany
to
runs
those
on, I
countries.
believe,
I expect those
60%
new energy sources to be
solar.
built right here in the United States. That's going to help.
And they
Germany
have
get the
half
job.
the
It's also gonna
sunlight
make
we
sure, that you're not paying as much for gas.
Governor, on the subject of gas prices.
Well, let's look at the president's policies, all right, as opposed to the rhetoric, because we've had 4 years of policies being played out. And the president's right in terms of the additional oil production, but none of it came on federal land.
Oh,
Matter of fact, oil production
baloney.
is down 14% this year on federal land, and gas production
Here comes
is
the
down
first.
9%.
Liar!
Why? Because the president cut in half the number of licenses and permits for drilling on federal lands and in federal waters. So where'd the increase come from? Well, a lot of it came from the Bakken Range in North Dakota. What was his participation there? The administration brought a criminal action against the people drilling up there for oil, this massive new resource we have. And what was the cause? 20 or 25 birds were killed, and they brought out a Migratory Bird Act to go after them on a criminal basis. Look, I want to make sure we use our oil, our coal, our gas, our nuclear, our renewables.
We have
I
approximately
believe very much
2%
in our
of the
renewable
world's known
capabilities.
oil reserves.
Ethanol, wind,
We cannot
solar
become
will be an
energy
important part of
independent
our
by
energy mix.
drilling.
But what we don't need is to have the president keeping us from
2%. I don't feel that's the correct number.
coal and gas. This is
I will double check.
Or Mr. Gas or Mr. Coal. Talk to the people that are working in those industries. I was in coal country. People grab my arms and say, please, save my job. The head of the EPA said, you can't build a coal plant. It's virtually impossible given our regulations. When the president ran for office, he said, if you build a coal plant, you can go ahead, but you'll go bankrupt. That's not the right course for America. Let's take advantage of the energy resources we have, as well as the energy sources.
2.2%.
And if we do that,
really,
do what I'm planning on doing, which is getting us
I got that too.
Slate.com, April 25th, 2012.
Maybe I was giving Alaska and them too much credit.
Because our energy is low cost. They're already beginning to come back because of our abundant energy. I'll get America and North America energy independent. I'll do it by more drilling, more permits and licenses. We're going to bring that pipeline in from Canada. How in the world
the transcontinental pipeline isn't going to do, or Keystone, transcontinental Keystone isn't going to do jack shit. That oil is going straight to the world market.
Adam, are you eating chips?
No, sir, I am not eating.
That was my cat. He was running along, stepping on an empty chip bag. I apologize.
Hi, Marco.
Purview of the government to bring those prices down, or are we looking at the new normal?
Candy, there's no doubt that world demand's gone up, but our production is going up, and we're using oil more efficiently. And very little of what Governor Romney just said is true. We've opened up public lands. We're actually drilling more on public lands than in the previous administration. And the previous president was an oil man. And natural gas isn't just appearing.
Why won't he just say Bush? Don't say. You need a mental image in their head. Say Bush, President Bush, former President Bush.
Governor of Massachusetts, you stood in front of a coal plant and pointed at it and said, "This plant kills," and took great pride in shutting it down. And now suddenly you're a big.
That was Massachusetts liberal, Mitt.
So, what I've tried to do is be consistent. With respect to something like coal, we made the largest investment.
I was surprised Mitt came out of the gate so crazy pro coal like that.
We're producing more coal, we're producing it cleaner and smarter. Same thing with oil, same thing with natural gas. And the proof is our oil imports are down to the lowest levels in 20 years.
Oh no, a fact.
Natural gas production is up. And most importantly, we're also starting to build cars that are more efficient. And that's creating jobs. That means those cars can be exported because that's the demand around the world. And it also means that it'll save money in your pocketbook. That's the strategy you need on all of the above strategies, and that's what we're going to do in the next 4 years.
Oh my God, do you hear how angry he is?
That's the problem. In the last 4 years, you cut permits and licenses on federal land and federal waters in half.
Not true, Governor Romney.
So how much did you cut them by?
Not true.
By how much did you cut them by then?
Governor, we have actually produced more oil.
No. How much did you cut licenses and permits on federal land?
Stop interrupting, you fucking douche!
There were a whole bunch of oil.
No, I had a question, and the question was, how much did you cut them by?
You want me to answer
How much did you cut them by?
I'm happy to answer the question.
All right, and it is?
Here's what happened.
We're going to stop after this exchange.
Who had leases on public lands that they weren't using. So what we said was, you can't just sit on this for 10, 20, 30 years. Decide when you want to drill, when you want to produce, when it's most profitable for you. These are public lands. So if you want to drill on public lands, you use it or you lose it.
Okay,
so what we did was take away those leases, and we are now reletting them so that we can actually make a profit.
And production on government land is down.
No, it isn't.
Production on government land of oil is down 14%.
Governor,
and production on
you're
gas
saying
is down 9%.
It's just not true.
It's absolutely true. Look, there's no question but that the people recognize that we have not produced more oil and gas on federal land and the federal waters. And coal production is not up. Coal jobs are not up. I was just at a coal facility where some 1,200 people lost their jobs. The right course for America is to have a true all-of-the-above policy. I don't think anyone really believes that you're a person who's going to be pushing for oil and gas and coal. You'll get your chance in a moment. I'm still speaking.
Well,
oh my God!
People think that's the case because that wasn't a question. Okay. That was a statement. I don't think the American people believe that.
You do not tell.
Coal and natural gas.
All right. You do not tell the President of the United States to shut the fuck up.
We're getting into the childish section of the debate.
I mean, that's not what he said literally, but oh my god. Anywho, on that note, we're going to take a break. But Political Science Theater will return. And I just want to point out that Mitt's little escapade there was a blatant violation of the rules. According to the rules that he agreed to, you cannot ask the candidate a question. So, I'd say he just basically lost the debate at that point. But I'm biased, and I admit that. So yeah, we will be back. Music for this break is a remix from Chrono Trigger of the Zeal theme. And we're going to try and make this break as short as possible. So,
like Rush Limbaugh's penis.
Oh,
like
damn.
That's been a popular theme lately, War. We did it. I'll explain to you. Anywho, we will be back after this.
Do they have Mic Check Radio in the spirit world?
As a matter of fact, they do not.
This is Mic Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
Hi, this is Kenny Pick from Turn Up the Night. Here are some of the hijinks you can expect from my show. We just got done listening to several clips about the Romney fundraisers over the weekend, and I invented the murder finger. It's an offspring of the murder fist. It just happens to be the murder fist with the middle finger extended.
Well, I'm ahead of you because I've had a hate finger for many.
Hate finger.
Hate finger. The man with the malcontent's touch.
Yeah. Turn Up the Night with Kenny Pick, streaming live every Tuesday and Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern at Radio or Not, Talk Radio 1, Progressive Blend Radio, and KennyPick.com.
What the hell? Are you stuck at home on a Saturday night with nothing to do again?
I can't
take it anymore!
Then join me, my co-hosts, and my guests every Saturday evening for Mic Check Radio with Adam Hebert. Okay. Together we'll discuss the big news of the week from entertainment and politics, talk about the issues that are on your mind, and hey, we'll even talk about general stupidity and jackassery from the American right.
You stupid jackass!
So join me every Saturday evening, 6 to 9 p.m. Central at my Ustream home, Mic Check Radio. Come on in, it'll be loads of fun.
Have you checked
To close all the repeaters. We'll be right back.
What the hell was that all about?
Yeah, that was weird.
I heard repeats of lasers just going off over.
Yeah, me too, and that's like I was...
We were doing so good, too. Son of a gun.
Yeah.
Nothing but good times were being had, and...
There we go. Okay, so we got something in the way of audio. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, I had no audio and I had to shut all my repeaters down. That might have been part of the problem everyone else was having. So let me get that back up, and we'll resume as soon as Wes gets back. So just to recap, we left at that... I'm sorry, John, go ahead.
Adam, I'm not feeling good right now, like, it just hit me, so I'm gonna have to leave.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry, bro, like...
It's fine, it happens, no big deal. We have, I think, you know, I guess it's a really good thing I asked you on, War, because if I hadn't, we'd be down a person.
Well, yeah, your laser beams drove Wes away, I don't know where he went, but...
He said he had to reboot.
Ah. Gotcha.
But,
I'm adding him back into the... It's okay, John. Go rest. Have a good night.
Yep, you too. Thank you, Adam.
No problem. So... as far as I can tell... Uh-oh. Why am I getting called... Okay. I think Wes is back. Wes, are you back, sir?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, good. So, just to recap, I mean... Let's be honest. What the hell is that?
You're having weird sound effects issues today.
That's not me! That's not me! That's not my box! This is my box.
No, it's you.
It can't be me! This is my box.
Liar! Liar!
And I don't Oh, I forgot to hook up my box to my headphones, so that's why I can't hear anything. I'm stupid. Let's try it. Let's double check.
That's not fair.
There we go. Okay, so just a quick recap. I have to say that exchange, and we played a little thing by Mark Hamill where he talks about that. That was just being a bully, I think. It was rude, it was disrespectful, and it was unbecoming of a man who wants to be president.
I feel this debate really went to schoolyard rules for a little while, like the "oh no you didn't" sort of thing.
Well,
it was kind of made me very uncomfortable to watch at certain points.
I remember what you were saying. You were like, "Is this the same guy?" So let's get back. We're already 7 minutes in, and I want to try and get 23 minutes. So yeah, and don't forget, asshole of the week at the top of this, at the bottom of this hour.
Right, for oil, coal, and natural gas, and the proof of whether a strategy is working or not is what the price is that you're paying at the pump. If you're paying less than you paid a year or two ago, why then the strategy is working. But you're paying more. When the president took office, the price of gasoline here in Nassau County was about $1.86 a gallon. Now it's $4 a gallon. Price of electricity is up. If the president's energy policies are working, you're going to see the cost of energy come down. I will fight to create more energy in this country.
Oh, so gas was 99 cents a gallon when Bush took over.
A pipeline
Oops.
of oil from Canada, taking advantage of the oil and coal we have here, drilling offshore in Alaska, drilling offshore in Virginia where the people want it. Those things will get us the energy we need.
Mr. President, could you address, because we did finally get to gas prices here, could you address what the governor said, which is if your energy policy was working, the price of gasoline would not be $4 a gallon.
Well,
here.
think about what the governor just said. He said, when I took office, the price of gasoline was $1.80, $1.86. Why is that? Because the economy was on the verge of collapse. Because we were about to go through the worst recession since the Great Depression. As a consequence of some of the same policies that Governor Romney is now promoting. So it's conceivable that Governor Romney could bring down gas prices because with his policies, we might be back in that same mess.
Oh, shit.
What I want to do is to create an economy that is strong and at the same time produce energy. And with respect to this pipeline that Governor Romney keeps on talking about, we've built enough pipeline to wrap around the entire earth once. So I'm all for pipelines. I'm all for oil production. What I'm not for. So, for example, on wind energy,
that was my fault. I was just expanding my volume.
These are imaginary jobs. When you've got thousands of people right now in Iowa, right now in Colorado, who are working, creating wind power with good-paying manufacturing jobs, and the Republican senator in Iowa is all for it, providing tax credits to help this work, and Governor Romney says, I'm opposed. I'd get rid of it. That's not an energy strategy for the future, and we need to win that future. And I intend to win it as president of the United States.
I'm going to exercise my executive power and pause for a minute. I just want to point out that what he said is actually accurate. If the people can't afford a product and they're not buying it, the price is going to tumble. That's basic economics, and I can grasp basic economics. That not much beyond that. So I mean, if the economy is going to crater, gas prices have to come down. And another thing is that Keystone, as I said, it is not going to affect the price at the pump. That oil goes directly onto the world market where it's bid on. So, I apologize. I just felt that was necessary.
I got to move you along. And the next question is for you.
He actually got the first question, so I get the last
question.
Here
he goes again.
Actually, in the follow-up, it doesn't quite work like that, but I'm going to give you a
I'm going to
rewrite fuck you, pompous asshole.
So if you want to, continue
this is what
but I don't want to leave all these guys sitting here.
I don't have a policy.
Yeah, that exchange made me really uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was bad.
Phantom jobs. They're real jobs. Okay. I appreciate wind jobs in Iowa and across our country. I appreciate the jobs in coal and oil and gas. I'm going to make sure that taking advantage of our energy resources will bring back manufacturing to America. We're going to get through a very aggressive energy policy, 3.5 million more jobs in this country. It's critical to our future.
Candy,
we're going to move you along to
used
taxes.
To being interrupted.
All right, we're going to move you both along to taxes over here, and all these folks that have been waiting. Governor, this question is for you. It comes from Mary Polano.
I just can't believe he thought he was going to get away with that
Romney,
again.
You have stated that if you're elected president, you would plan to reduce the tax rates for all the tax brackets, and that you would work with the Congress to eliminate some deductions in order to make up for the loss in revenue. Concerning these various deductions, the mortgage deduction, the charitable deductions, the child tax credit, and also the, what's that other credit?
You're doing great.
Rick Perry.
The education credits, which are important to me because I have children in college. What would be your position on those things, which are important to the middle class?
Thank you very much. And let me tell you, you're absolutely right about part of that, which is I want to bring the rates down. I want to simplify the tax code, and I want to get middle-income taxpayers to have lower taxes.
Two words. Mathematically impossible.
Because middle-income taxpayers have been buried over the past
arithmetic.
You've seen, as middle-income people in this country, incomes go down $4,300 a family, even as gasoline prices have gone up $2,000. Health insurance premiums up $2,500. Food prices up. Utility prices up. The middle-income families in America have been crushed over the last 4 years. So I want to get some relief to middle-income families. That's part
by
one.
cutting rich people's taxes.
Because I'm going to bring rates down across the board for everybody, but I'm going to limit deductions and exemptions and credits, particularly for people at the high end.
Isn't that going to amount to a tax increase for the middle class?
The top 5% of the taxpayers will continue to pay 60% of the income tax the nation collects. So that'll stay the same. Middle-income people are going to get a tax break. And so in terms of bringing down deductions, one way of doing that would be to say everybody gets, I'll pick a number, $25,000 of deductions and credits. And you can decide which ones to use. Your home mortgage interest deduction, charity, child tax credit, and so forth. You can use those as part of filling that bucket, if you will, of deductions. But your rate comes down, and the burden also comes down on you for one more reason. And that is every middle-income taxpayer no longer will pay any tax on interest, dividends, or capital gains. No tax on your savings.
So a rich person's tax
cut. A lot easier.
No, for the rich!
If you're getting interest from a bank, if you're getting a statement from a mutual fund, or any other kind of investments you have, you don't have to worry about filing taxes on that, because there'll be no taxes for anybody making $200,000 a year and less on your interest, dividends, and capital gains. Why am I lowering taxes
that works
for the middle
too.
class? Because under the last 4 years, they've been buried. And I want to help people in the middle class. And I will not, under any circumstances, reduce the share that's being paid by the highest income taxpayers. And I will not, under any circumstances.
It's not possible!
The president's spending, the president's borrowing, will cause
the president's spending? That's Bush's spending!
Not just at the high end.
He put the wars on the books.
The people in the middle class will see $4,000 a year higher taxes as a result of the spending and borrowing of this administration. I will not let that happen. I'll get us on track to a balanced budget, and I'm going to reduce the tax burden on middle-income families.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
And it's going to create incentives to start growing jobs again in this country.
Thanks, Governor.
Tax cuts don't create jobs. It has been proven time and time again.
And that is, I want to give middle-class families and folks who are striving to get in the middle class some relief. Because they have been hit hard over the last decade.
Taxes are the lowest they've been since World War II.
So 4 years ago, I stood on a stage just like this one. Actually, it was at town hall, and I said I would cut taxes for middle-class families. And that's what I've done, by $3,600. I said I would cut taxes for small businesses, who are the drivers and engines of growth. And we've cut them 18 times. And I want to continue those tax cuts for middle-class families and for small businesses. But what I've also said is, if we're serious about reducing the deficit, if this is genuinely a moral obligation to the next generation, then in addition to some tough spending cuts, we've also got to make sure that the wealthy do a little bit more. So what I've said is, your first $250,000 worth of income, no change. And that means 98% of American families, 97% of small businesses, they will not see a tax increase. I'm ready to sign that bill right now. The only reason it's not happening is because Governor Romney's allies in Congress have held the 98% hostage because they want tax breaks for the top 2%. But what I've also said is, for above $250,000, we can go back to the tax rates we had when Bill Clinton was president. We created 23 million new jobs. That's part of what took us from deficits to surplus. It will be good for our economy, and it will be good for job creation. Now, Governor Romney has a different philosophy. He was on 60 Minutes just 2 weeks ago. And he was asked, is it fair for somebody like you making $20 million a year to pay a lower tax rate than a nurse or a bus driver, somebody making $50,000 a year? And he said, yes, I think that's fair. Not only that, he said, I think that's what grows the economy. Well, I fundamentally disagree with that. I think what grows the economy is when you get that tax credit that we put in place for your kids going to college. I think that grows the economy. I think what grows the economy is when we make sure small businesses are getting a tax credit for hiring veterans who fought for our country. That grows our economy. So we just have a different theory. And when Governor Romney stands here after a year of campaigning,
Yeah, Romney's theory's been
during the
proven wrong
Republican
time and time
primary,
again.
he stood on stage and said, I'm going to give tax cuts. He didn't say tax rate cuts. He said tax cuts to everybody, including the top 1%. You should believe him, because that's been his history. And that's exactly the kind of top-down economics that is not going to work if we want a strong middle class and an economy that's thriving for everybody.
Governor Romney, I'm sure you've got a reply there.
You're absolutely right. You heard what I said about my tax plan. The top 5%.
I heard mathematically impossible.
I'm not looking to cut taxes for wealthy people. I am looking to cut taxes for middle-income people. And why do I want to bring rates down and at the same time lower exemptions and deductions, particularly for people at the high end? Because if you bring rates down, it makes it easier for small business to keep more of their capital and hire people. And for me, this is about jobs. I want to get America's economy going again.
Poor paying jobs for serfs.
Work in businesses that are taxed as individuals. So when you bring those rates down, those small businesses are able to keep more money and hire more people. For me, I look at what's happened in the last 4 years and say, this has been a disappointment. We can do better than this.
Apparently, history for Mitt Romney begins January 20th, 2009.
23 million Americans struggling to find a good job right now. There are 3.5 million more women living in poverty today than when the president took office. We don't have to live like this. We can get this economy going again. My 5-point plan does it. Energy independence for North America in 5 years, opening up more trade, particularly in Latin America, cracking down on China when they cheat, getting us to a balanced budget, fixing our training programs for our workers, and finally championing small business. I want to help small businesses grow and thrive. I know how to make that happen.
By getting Walmart cheaper labor.
I know why jobs come and why they go. And they're going now because of the...
They went because you sent them away!
About what you just said.
What was that?
Says that
I said they left because he sent them away.
The top 5%, I believe is what he said, to have a tax cut, that it will all even out, that what he wants to do is give that tax cut to the middle class. Settled?
No, it's not settled. Look.
The only way it's settled is in that it's mathematically impossible and can't work.
Along with what he also wants to do in terms of eliminating the estate tax, along with what he wants to do in terms of corporates, changes in the tax code, it costs...
Damn it, I'm out of
$5
soda.
trillion. Governor Romney then also wants to spend $2 trillion.
You didn't have another
additional
vodka
military
incident, did
programs,
you?
Even though the military is not asking for them. That's $7 trillion. He also wants to continue the Bush tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans. That's another $1 trillion. That's $8 trillion. Now, what he says is he's going to make sure that this doesn't add to the deficit, and he's going to cut middle-class taxes. But when he's asked, how are you going to do it, which deductions, which loopholes are you going to close, he can't tell you. The fact that he only has to pay 14% on his taxes when a lot of you are paying much higher, you know, he's already taken that off the board. Capital gains are going to continue to be at a low rate, so we're not going to get money that way. We haven't heard from the governor any specifics beyond Big Bird and eliminating...
What? Did you drink it straight again?
In terms of how he
No.
Now,
Obama keeps just browbeating Romney and then not saying anything. You can browbeat Romney all you want, just also say what you're going to do.
$7 or $8 trillion.
Well, he learned from Romney in the first debate.
But we can't tell you until maybe after the election how we're going to do it, you wouldn't have taken such a sketchy deal. And neither should you, the American people, because the math doesn't add up. And what's at stake here is one of two things. Either, Candy, this blows up the deficit, because keep in mind, this is just to pay for the additional spending that he's talking about. $7-8 trillion. That's before we even get to the deficit we already had. Or alternatively, it's got to be paid for not only by closing deductions for wealthy individuals. That'll pay for about 4% reduction in tax rates. You're going to be paying for it. You'll lose some deductions. And you can't buy this sales pitch. Nobody who's looked at it that's serious actually believes it adds up.
Mr. President, let me get the governor in on this. And Governor, before we get into a vast array of who says what study says what, if it shouldn't add up, if
Obama didn't answer that last question.
Tax revenue coming in, if somehow
spend the whole time browbeating Romney.
Neither of them does much question answering in this debate.
Whoever goes first answers the question, and then whoever goes second spends the whole damn debate saying how wrong the first person was, and then the third person goes, "Hey, that's not fair," and then the moderator shuts them down. That's the theme of this debate.
The state of Massachusetts as a governor, to the extent any governor does, and balance the budget all 4 years.
He's constitutionally required to submit a balanced budget. You don't get to claim that as a...
$5 trillion. That's math that doesn't add up.
You can't claim that as an accomplishment if you're mandated to do it.
Completely foreign to what my real plan is. And then we have his own record, which is we have 4 consecutive years
7.8% unemployment, taxes lowest they've been.
We've gone from $10 trillion of national debt to $16 trillion of national debt. If the president were reelected,
$6 trillion of that being Bush's.
$20 trillion of national debt. This puts us on a road to Greece. I know what it takes to balance budgets.
He just pissed off the Greeks.
For instance, when he says yours is a $5 trillion cut. Well,
so Polish,
because I'm
English,
some of the reductions,
Israelis, and Greeks. That's who he's pissed off so far.
Governor, I need to have you both hang up. I understand the stakes here. I understand both of you, but I will get run out of town.
I just described to you, Mr. President. I just described to you precisely how I do it with a single number. That
all right, I think this is a good place to stop the break.
Mr. President, we're keeping.
Yeah.
I assume they just yell at each other for the next 5 minutes anyway.
Here's the thing. I get what you're saying, War, but the fact of the matter is Mitt Romney has no right to complain because that's exactly what he did in the first debate. So, sorry, if you're guilty of the sin, you don't get to call out another sinner. You know, I'm not saying that you did it, I'm just speaking in, general terms.
I went away from this debate liking both candidates less, just from how they handled themselves. And to me, this was I don't really remember perfectly what happened 4 years ago, but this was one of the most childish displays of debating I'd ever seen.
But isn't that
the first person would go? They'd lay out a plan. Maybe they made some mistakes. Maybe some of their stuff wasn't viable. But then the second person would spend the entire time just talking about how terrible an idea that is. Then the third person would jump in, and they'd say that's not fair what he just said, and then the moderator would cut him off. That's all I saw the whole debate, unless they were talking over each other, saying no.
I don't disagree with you, but I think where we differ is I kind of put the blame for roughening the discourse on the Republicans. Obama tried. Being the nice guy, being the polite guy in the first one, and he got reamed on that debate.
Yeah, he tried.
By everyone, by the left included.
The Republicans would come to him and say, we might be able to support a public option, then say, oh, nope, we changed our minds. We'll only accept this. And he bent over backwards to try and please them, and every time they said, fuck you, Mr. President. I'm sorry, I've got to side with the president. I mean, I get your complaint, but he's tried being nice. It didn't work. When a child is naughty, you spank him. Anywho, we'll be back. We'll be back in a few moments. Your music for this break is a remix of Guile's theme from Street Fighter 4.
If Shinji is denser than lead, then
Adam Hebert
is off the atomic scale. Really? Yup.
This is Mic Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
This is Jackson Brown, and you're listening to The Nicole Sandler Show.
This is Melissa Etheridge, and you're listening to my friend, Nicole Sandler.
Hey, this is Rob with Matchbox 20.
Hey, this is Chris Isaac.
Hi, this is Suzanne Vega.
Hey, this is Trey Anastasio, and you're listening to
my friend Nicole Sandler.
Bare Naked Ladies, you're listening to Nicole Sandler.
What's up? This is Howie Day, and you're listening to Nicole Sandler.
Hey, this is Henry.
And I'm JoJo. And I'm Ringo. And we're Los Lonely Boys, and you're listening to Nicole Sandler.
This is Kelly from Stereophonics, and you're listening to Nicole Sandler.
This is Evan Dando of The Lemonheads, and you're listening to Nicole Sandler.
Hi, my name's Jonathan Brooke, and you're listening to Nicole Sandler.
This is Pat Monahan from the band Train, and you're listening to Nicole Sandler.
This is Ziggy Marley, and you're listening to Nicole Sandler.
Hey, this is Pete Yorn, and you're listening to Nicole Sandler.
The lovely Nicole Sandler.
Nicole Sandler. Nicole is awesome.
The Nicole Sandler Show at RadioOrNot.com. Music to my ears. The 99 Report with Ally McNeil, covering all the issues that affect the 99% and what drives the Occupy movement. live on Fridays from 2 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern at blogtalkradio.com/99-report. Podcasts available on the blog, the99report.blogspot.com. And be sure to follow Allie and The 99 Report at Watergate Summer on Twitter. The 99 Report with Allie McNeil, a voice for the majority.
I think we're all indebted to
Adam Hebert
for clearly stating what needed to be said. I'm particularly glad that these lovely children were here today to hear that speech. Not only was it authentic frontier gibberish, it expressed a courage little seen in this day and age.
This is Mic Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
And we are back, and yes, I do speak in authentic frontier gibberish. Apparently we were having some audio problems going to break, and hopefully I fixed that. Joining me is our special guest co-host, Wes Smith out of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yo!
And War out of our New York bureau. And it's like I was saying earlier, we're just lousy with bureaus. So thank you very much for joining us, War, especially since John unfortunately is feeling a little bit under the weather. And as I said earlier, Wes Carskadden chewed his leg off at the ankle and got away. So, yeah. War, are you there?
I am.
Okay, just making sure. Before we get back to the debate, War, I really want your opinion on this, because you're. I mean, we were talking before the break about, how all this rude or this is rude, and I'm with you. Okay, I want there to be civilian politics, but, I want your opinion on this. We'll get back to the debate as soon as we're done, but I want you to hear this. This is from, I already played this once, but Rob just showed up, and I really want to share this. This is John Fugelsang, who, War, I worship at the altar of John Fugelsang. And that if I were gay, I would ask him to marry me. But this is John Fugelsang on the Bill Press Show.
His butt cheek several times, yes.
I'm sorry?
I said your lips have been on his butt cheeks several times, yes.
Yeah, yes. Yes. So this is him subbing for Bill Press, I believe Wednesday. Here, take a listen.
John is calling us from Los Angeles, California. Good morning, John.
Yeah, good morning.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. I think that the topic tonight on the advice for President Obama is a good topic.
Oh, this is Tuesday, since it's the
way he
night of
got
debate.
whipped in the last debate. And if you want to talk about some flip-flopping, let's talk about Barry Obama and gay marriage.
Sure, let's talk about it.
all his flip-flops.
Let's talk about it.
Let's go both sides. You know what I'm saying there?
Okay, let's talk about it.
2008, what did he say about, marriage is between a man and a woman. Now he knows he needs the gay vote. So
I'm glad you called, John. Let me ask you.
What's he doing now, Tom?
Okay.
Bill Press is cleaning Al Gore's house right now, too.
Are you going to let me talk, or are you going to be a douchebag, John? Do I get to have a dialogue with you, or is it going to be you ranting about Barry Obama? Do you want to talk like men? Do you want to talk like men, John, or are you going to sit there and rant?
Did you hear that in the background?
John, I hope you're still listening to hear me call you a cowardly little biatch. That's no dialogue there at all. Barry Obama. You know, man, John, I wish you'd call back, because if you will, I'll treat you with more respect than you treated me or this audience.
So, I mean, do you get to see my, what I'm trying to say, War? How can you deal with people like that?
Yeah. All right, hang on. Why do I have to deal with that guy?
No, I'm saying that.
That's a damn good question.
You don't have. What I'm saying is, okay, the Congress came in 2010 and basically said, we are going to do nothing to help this president get the economy moving because our number one goal is to make sure he doesn't win re-election. And you're faulting the president for not working with that Congress? I gotta say that, as the wise old robot once said, does not compute. Sorry about that. So we're dealing with people like that who just, they click and runs off like a, I will say this though, I'm grateful to that caller because of him. I now have the glorious audio crack that is
cowardly little biatch.
So, thank you, John in Los Angeles. But let's get back to the debate. I think that was a good place to stop, but we better get going. 35 minutes down. Let's go.
Oh, we're totally getting through all of it.
We're going to stop at 9:30, about 9:20, no matter what. How about that?
That's fine.
Even if we're not done.
9:35 now.
All right. Not
East
10:30. Yeah, I keep 10:20, no matter what. I'm sorry.
Mr. President, we're keeping track, I promise you. And Mr. President, the next question is for you, so stay standing. And it's Catherine Fenton who has a question for you.
In what new ways do you intend to rectify the inequalities in the workplace, specifically regarding females making only 72% of what
this
their male
one?
counterparts
Oh,
well, Catherine, this is a great question, and I was raised by a single mom who had to put herself through school while looking after 2 kids, and she worked hard every day and made a lot of sacrifices to make sure we got everything we needed. My grandmother, she started off as a secretary in a bank. She never got college education, even though she was smart as a whip. And she worked her way up to become a vice president of a local bank. But she hit the glass ceiling. She trained people who would end up becoming her bosses during the course of her career. She didn't complain. That's not what you did in that generation. And this is one of the reasons why the first bill I signed was something called the Lilly Ledbetter Bill. And this is named after this amazing woman who had been doing the same job as a man for years, found out that she was getting paid less, and the Supreme Court said that she couldn't bring suit because she should have found out about it earlier. She had no way of finding out about it. So we fixed that. And that's an example of the kind of advocacy that we need, because women are increasingly the breadwinners in the family. This is not just a women's issue. This is a family issue. There's a middle-class issue. And that's why we've got to fight for it. It also means that we've got to make sure that young people like yourself are able to afford a college education. Earlier, Governor Romney talked about he wants to make Pell Grants and other education accessible for young people. Well, the truth of the matter is that that's exactly what we've done. We've expanded Pell Grants for millions of people, including millions of young women all across the country. We did it by taking $60 billion that was going to banks and lenders as middlemen for the student loan program, and we said, let's just cut out the middleman. Let's give the money directly to students. And as a consequence, we've seen millions of young people be able to afford college, and that's going to make sure that young women are going to be able to compete in that marketplace. But we've got to enforce the laws, which is what we are doing, and we've also got to make sure that in every walk of life, we do not tolerate discrimination. That's been one of the hallmarks of my administration. I'm going to continue to push on this issue for the next 4 years.
Governor Romney, pay equity for women.
Thank you, and important topic. And one which I learned a great deal about.
Go on, Warren.
As I was serving as governor.
I'm not so sure about the whole they can afford to go to college. They certainly are going to college, but they're coming away with college with debt up to their eyeballs. I remember back during the 99% rallies and stuff like that, when they would hold up those signs written with their troubles. Do you know what I'm talking about? When that became really popular online, where somebody would write down I am a college student who's currently $50,000 in debt. And that was like the most common thing for somebody to complain about. And everyone has the opportunity now to go to college. And everyone can go to college, but they come out of it with debt for the rest of their natural-born lives. And just the idea that higher education should be so poisonous to the current generation is just something that I think is a problem that's overlooked by a lot of people.
I agree. We'll discuss that. We'll cover that.
But number two, because I recognize that if you're going to have women in the workforce, that sometimes they need to be more flexible.
I'm actually tempted to just say, since Wes, you know what?
We're still in school.
I'm going to alter the program. We're going to go a little bit over the normal time But Wes Smith has to leave. Unfortunately, I didn't clear the extended show with him. I could have sworn I did, but apparently Adam's stupid and forgot. So we're going to stop there.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be. Don't be. It's my fault. War, I think you're right. But I also think that part of the problem is how we view higher education. Most of the civilized world views an education as a right. If we view it as a privilege that, if you don't have the money, sucks to be you, go work at Walmart. We could pay for we could cover tuition for everyone who wants to go to college for, I believe, $70 billion. That is less than 1% of the federal budget. And I think that would actually be more healthy for the economy. What do you think?
Well, I know something has to change because the way things are running now, I'm one of the lucky ones. I went to college and I left college and I was only out of the job workforce for about 6 months or so. And I immediately got a job and I was being able to pay back the student loans. But we've bred a culture right now where it's no longer going to college is no longer an elite thing. There was a time not really that long ago where college was sort of thought as this, if you go to college, you're going to get a job, you're going to get skilled labor, so if you want to make a lot of money, go to college. That was our generation. Mm-hmm. That the parents were telling us that's what we have to do.
Yeah, you're not much younger than I am, so we're pretty much in the same generation.
Right, so that's what all the parents said. Go to college, you get a good job. Go to college, you get a good job. Because they didn't go to college. Our parents' generation did not. So anyone who they saw go to college did actually get jobs and go forward. But we've also got all of these majors. Nothing against people who have these majors, I'll say straight out. Because you should do what you love, but it's just unfortunate that you have to pay so much money to get something like an art degree or something where you're just going to have a lot of trouble with the minimal amount of jobs versus the amount of people going into that sort of stuff at college. So you leave college with this enormous debt and a degree that's not really that helpful for you. And we're breeding a generation where we're forcing people at 23, 22 to come out of the gate so far behind, but that's what they were bred to believe. And then they won't even take lower income jobs because they've been told your whole life, go to college. What do you want to do? Flip burgers for the rest of your life? So they've got all this negative view on regular jobs, think jobs that need to get done. So they have inflated self-worth plus debt. It's just such a recipe for disaster that something has to happen.
Well, like I said, I'm sorry.
No, just something has to happen, was all I was trying to say.
I couldn't agree more.
I'm just saying that I think it may not solve the problem in its entirety, but I think that if we just started saying, look, if you want to go to college and you've got the grades or the test scores or some standard, you can go tuition free. Like the rest of the modern world.
Right. That was one of the things I remember Obama promising, or maybe not promising, more like mentioning offhandedly, that he believed in that. He believed that was something that needed to happen.
Right.
We need to set up a system where college wasn't such a double-edged sword. If certain jobs needed college, but a lot of jobs didn't really need college, but people were still going to college for that and saddling themselves with this debt, which college should only be a positive experience. It should only be beneficial to you, and for the majority of people, it's ending up being so negative in both debt and just hopelessness you felt after leaving that, it was one of the broken, maybe it's not a promise because I can't remember him saying the word promise, but it was one of the broken things that Obama said that really bummed me out the most, one of the most out of his presidency.
Like I said, I get what you're saying, and I think it's a valid concern. I'm just saying that, like I said, I don't know how else to fix it, except, one, make it so again, if you meet a certain standard, which is either grades or whatever, you can go to college if you want. I'm not saying force everyone at gunpoint to go to college, but you don't have to worry about loans. You don't have to worry. I think the Pell should be expanded to include all tuition, and it can be done for so little. $70 billion is less than 1% of the budget. And let's face it, if we did that, that would probably be one of the best expenditures of federal dollars in years.
I don't think we should lose sight of the fact, though, that Obama has done a huge amount to make it easier to go to college. He has expanded Pell Grants more than any president ever. He's made them easier to get. More importantly, he's made them easier to pay off in a shorter amount of time. There are so many ways you can get your Pell Grants to be merit-based now, and that's all Obama. I mean, that's one of the many things he doesn't get credit for whatever reason.
I mean, look at how it is. I mean, just look at my, I'm not trying to be self-centered, but look at the way look at the things that I have to put up with. I came to the University of Illinois with a 3.5 GPA. Not even half of my tuition is covered by grants. I have to take out maximum loans every year. But if I could throw a football, I'd have a free ride. I think that is part of the problem with our system as well.
I have a friend. Sorry.
No, I mean, what I'm basically saying is that we have twisted values in this society. We value athletes, but if you're a kid who likes science, you're a nerd.
Well, I think this kind of comes back to an old saw that we get into a lot with Obama, which is Obama. What people seem to want Obama to do on these things that he does address, people seem to want him to go further. People seem to, honestly, want him to be more socialist. Now, we can't say that word because it's a dirty word, but that's the truth of the matter. The majority of American people want socialist policy enacted, though they don't identify it as such.
Right, because since the Cold War, oh my God, socialism equals communism. But socialism, first of all, they're different ideas. Second of all, what we saw in the Soviet Union was not true communism. It was totalitarianism with a communist veneer.
Our politics, by and large, are, to the rest of the world under Obama, center right.
Yeah.
If we had a true party to the left of the world, or rather,
on average to the left,
the rest of the world would consider left, Obama would have put single payer on the table. We would have things like your college education is fully paid for on the table, at least being argued. But we can't even get that. I mean, the Republican primary this year, Rick Santorum called Obama a snob for wanting to expand Pell Grants. He can't even approach anything that is even comparable to what the UK has without being immediately labeled a socialist Nazi tyrant somehow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's this anti-intellectualism in the conservative movement, and I deliberately did not say Republican Party. Mm-hmm. I was deliberate, but it's like you got Representative Paul Brown of Georgia standing up on a stage and saying, "I'm a scientist and I think evolution is a lie straight from the pit of hell." It's like, it's like, make it stop, make it stop.
I'll do anything, just make it stop.
But what we're gonna do is, I think we're gonna just stop with debate. After we do Asshole of the Week, we're going to go to break. We'll come back for one segment more, just the one. And War and I will augur this in. But first, I think it's time to take out some trash. Don't you guys?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right, let's do this.
Who is he? He's an asshole, sir. I know that. What's his name? Asshole. Major asshole. but I'm surrounded by assholes.
Were ye born an asshole?
Asshole?
Or did you work it in your whole life? Either way, it worked out fine. 'Cause you're an asshole tonight.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
Oh, I've got a lot of background noise. Who is that? Is that me?
I was humming to myself about the asshole song, so if that was what you're hearing, I'm sorry.
No, I didn't.
I'll admit it.
And I was also thinking to myself, I'm like, I haven't seen Spaceballs in like 2 years, and that should be criminal.
Hell yeah.
Actually, I just referenced the asshole scene earlier this week, or earlier today. Wes, do you have an asshole of the week?
I do have an asshole of the week.
Go for it. Rocket, you turkey.
My asshole of the week is Dr. Keith Abloh, famed Fox News contributor and supposedly a psychiatrist. According to Wikipedia, he is an accredited psychiatrist with a medical degree, a real doctor. I kind of, when I heard this, assumed he was like a DFA or something, but apparently he is a real medical doctor, and after the vice presidential debate, Dr. Keith Abloh had this to say. I wish I could play the clip, but I'll paraphrase.
You know what? Next time you want audio, tell me and I'll get it for you.
Absolutely. I wish I'd thought of that. Okay.
Because I know this audio exists. I've seen it.
Yeah. What Abloh said, and I'll go run through it pretty quick because it's a long quote. He said, "I did not evaluate Joe Biden." This is after the vice presidential debate, remember? When all the conservatives had their panties in a wad because Joe Biden was doing
kicked
what
their
Mitt
ass?
Romney did. Yeah, because Joe Biden made them look like fools. "I did not evaluate Joe Biden, but if someone said to me, 'We want you to do what's required to know what happened there,' I would have to put dementia on his differential diagnosis. You have to say, bizarre laughter, interrupting. If this were your dad or your grandfather, wouldn't you say if you brought him to me, 'Keith, you've got to tell me, is he suffering with dementia? Because he can't seem to listen. He's laughing inappropriately.' Now, the reason," okay, this kind of reads like standard conservative boilerplate bullshit, but Dr. Keith Abloh is, ding, 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 a doctor. His opinions carry weight. More importantly, okay, full disclosure, I am the child of two medical professionals. If I use the word retarded, you know, I was maligned for it, not out of any kind of PC thing, but because it was like, you don't have the qualifications to make that diagnosis. What pisses me off about this, yes, what pisses me off about this, and the reason Keith Abloh is my asshole of the week, is he does have the qualifications to say someone has dementia, and for him to go on Fox News, on national TV, and say that the Vice President of the United States might potentially be suffering from dementia, knowing full well that his opinion carries, for better or for worse, for some goddamn reason, some weight, that people out there, viewers, might take him seriously as a medical professional. For him to do that is completely irresponsible, and honestly, I think they should evaluate whether his medical license should be revoked.
Well,
because
it's
that
also
is bullshit.
It's also unethical to diagnose someone who is not your patient. So
completely. And I gotta say, when you read the statement, you know, he really kind of employs some weasel words where he's kind of like making the subject not him saying it. He's saying, well, hypothetically, if you were in my office and Joe Biden was your father, you'd be concerned. Yeah, it's that Fox News thing. But overall, I think Dr. Keith Abloh, knowing full well that his opinion carries more weight than yours or mine or you know, anyone's, rightfully in this regard, being as he has an MD, for him to say that the Vice President of the United States might potentially be suffering from dementia, no matter how he cloaks it or phrases it or attempts to kind of weasel around actually saying it, completely irresponsible.
All right, I agree. War, I know I'm probably catching you a little off guard, but do you have someone you want to put up for Asshole of the Week?
Well, if I can do it non-politically,
no boundaries, okay. Whoever you want.
I remember reading a story, and I'm going to call the assholes of the week is the TSA.
Hell yes.
Because I remember reading a story, and I'm not sure if it happened this week, so I could be cheating, about this leukemia patient who had to go through TSA, and TSA just didn't understand how to deal with her. So they made her lift up her shirt, pull back all of her bandages, and stuff like that. she was on the verge of dying. It was her last trip to Hawaii. It was her last wish before she died. And the TSA just couldn't deal with the fact that she was carrying, like, IV stuff and things like that with her just so she could get through the airport. We've gone too far. There's no coming back from that, where I think we're just so confused that we're labeling these people as our potential enemies now. And TSA would say, like, where's the line? And it's like, you should be able to tell where the line is, and that's probably it. People so sick that they need all this stuff to get through the airport, and then you have to go and you have to tear apart all of it just to let them through. We've gone too far. It's sad to have to deal with that.
What a bunch of assholes.
I agree, and hopefully this is the right one. I agree. You
have chosen wisely.
So, yeah, no, that was good. That was good. I like that. My asshole of the week is, let me pull this up because I was stupid again, and I didn't put my show prep on my tablet, so I'm reading off my computer. My asshole of the week is, I guess assholes, is Minnesota-based debt collection agency Gerstle Chargo, or is that Chargo? They are facing a lawsuit for verbally abusing an Army vet over a $6,000 defaulted student loan. So we come back to the excessive loan thing. This debt collector was angry that this veteran was living off of disability payments. And he said, quote, "If you would have served our country better, you would not be a disabled veteran living off of Social Security while the rest of us honest Americans work our asses off. Too bad you should have died."
Oh my God.
Wow.
This veteran was declared 100% disabled after suffering permanent spine and head injuries while in the Army. As a result, both him and his wife receive disability payments from the Federal Social Security Administration, which are exempt from seizure by debt collectors. However, this company broke the law and seized the money from a savings account.
So, who was... Alright, sorry, I missed the beginning. Who was this person who said this?
The person is unidentified, but the company is Gerstle Chargo.
And what do?
They collect debts.
Oh my God.
But wait, there's more. The debt the debt collections agency's lawyer continued to harass the couple, telling the vet, quote, he would need to get a lawyer in order to get his money back. He also threatened him over the phone. "Fuck you," the paralegal said. "Pay us your money. You can't afford an attorney. You owe us. I hope your wife divorces you." I think I can declare myself the winner in this week's asshole of the week.
That's definitely one of the worst things I've ever heard. Yes.
So
have you ever seen? I'm forgetting the name of the documentary, but there's something that is like Maxed Out, I think is the title of the documentary, where they talk about credit card debt like that.
We'll see.
And they hire a bunch of group of people, and they have like contests on how much on whether or not they can bully a person into giving up their money on the spot. And they were on the phone, and they're just threatening them, and they did this. I'm sorry, I'm totally stealing your asshole of the week thing, but they're
no, it's cool. I want your.
So
commentary.
They're doing the way they did this documentary.
But we're running late.
Is they went. Oh,
hurry!
They went back and forth between these two groups of people. One, the debt collectors, who were talking about how great it is to make so much money off those people, and how sometimes you have to be a bit hard on people to get the results you want. And then this broken family whose mother committed suicide because of these people calling her, trying to get her debts. And the documentary went back and forth between the two of them, where the son is looking for the mother's body but can't find it because she's missing. And then the debt collector's like, well, sometimes when you're on the phone, you got to put a little pressure to get results. And then it goes back to them like, and they're standing in front of a bridge, and it's like the police found her car in here, but they haven't found the body yet, so we're just waiting for news. Then it goes back to them like, oh, we're showing record profits this month. And like, how do you live with yourself? You know what you're doing. You're destroying these people who are really pretty close to the end of the rope, and you're just pushing them off and just making money like that. It's just one of the most horrible things I can think of.
I agree. Before we go to break, Rob, if you want, since Wes is going, if you're interested, feel free to hop on Skype. I'll bring you in. We will be back after this break. I'm sorry, Wes. I should have been more diligent and cleared this with you first.
It's all good, bud.
We're going to go to break. We'll be back for one more segment. We're done with the debate, but I want to go over, I'm sure everyone knows about the big exchange over Libya. We'll talk about that, and I guess Rob's taking me up on the offer because he just popped on. Anyway, we're going to go to break.
I hate to miss that.
Next time, my Padawan. Next time. We're going to go to break. Your break music this time is a remix of Terra's theme from Final Fantasy VI. Enjoy. Let me cut on.
Superpowers, got any?
Well, I can eat my own weight in ding-dongs. I can turn red traffic lights green just by staring at them. And I can do an oil painting with my butt.
That's enough to get you on this show.
This is Mike Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
Hi, this is Kenny Pick from Turn Up the Night. Here are some of the hijinks you can expect from my show.
Also, news just recently came out about a 15-year-old girl, I think, over in the UK.
Yeah.
Who's only eating McNuggets, and this 15-year-old
get real sick.
Yeah, her tongue swelled up and she collapsed.
What's the technical medical term for eating nothing but chicken nuggets?
I think that would be suicide.
Turn Up the Night with Kenny Pick, streaming live every Tuesday and Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern at Radio or Not, Talk Radio 1, Progressive Blend Radio, and KennyPick.com.
Look alive, wage slaves, presenting that caliph of clowns, that mogul of Mountie Banks, the one and only
Adam Hebert. This is Mike Check Radio.
And okay, good. My mic is hot. And we are back, and joining us as a super special surprise guest co-host thingy is Rob, pulled out of the Baltimore, Maryland Bureau. So thank you for joining us, Rob. I'm sure you have some opinions about what happened, but I've been sitting on this for quite a while, and I just want to say I think President Obama learned this lesson as evidenced by his debate.
What is best in life? The open steppe, fleet horse, falcons at your wrist, and wind in your hair. Wrong! Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of your women. That is
You have no idea how long I've been waiting to use that.
Probably all night long.
Probably all night. Well, yeah, all night long. But no, seriously, thank you. I was afraid you would have to turn down because, it was just so last minute. I was like, Rob's there. Come on, get on Skype. So yeah. Cool. Let's go over the big one, the big enchilada. Where is that clip? I just got this clip because I wasn't planning on having to cover this, but I was assuming we would get the whole debate. Here is probably the most famous one besides the binders full of women, and I mean, this is the big one. Here, take a listen.
We're closing in. I want to still get a lot of people in. I want to ask you something, Mr. President, and then have the governor just quickly. Your Secretary of State, as I'm sure you know, has said that she takes full responsibility for the attack on the diplomatic mission in Benghazi. Does the buck stop with your Secretary of State as far as what went on here?
Oh, that's
Secretary
why
Clinton
I
has
passed
done
up
an
this
extraordinary job. But she works for
originally.
me. I'm the president, and I'm always responsible. And that's why nobody's more interested in finding out exactly what happened than I did. The day after the attack, Governor, I stood in the Rose Garden, and I told the American people and the world that we were going to find out exactly what happened, that this was an act of terror, and I also said that we're going to hunt down those who committed this crime.
What the
And then
hell?
a few days later, I was there greeting the caskets coming into Andrews Air Force Base and grieving with the families. And the suggestion that anybody in my team, whether the Secretary of State, our UN ambassador, anybody on my team would play politics or mislead when we've lost 4 of our own, Governor, is offensive. That's not what we do. That's not what I do as president. That's not what I do as commander-in-chief.
Oh, just get to the part where Romney sticks his foot.
I certainly do. I think it's interesting. The president just said something which is that on the day after the attack, he went to the Rose Garden and said that this was an act of terror. You said in the Rose Garden, the day after the attack, it was an act of terror. It was not a spontaneous demonstration. Is that what you're saying?
Please proceed, Governor.
Put your foot in your mouth.
I want to make sure we get that for the record, because it took the president 14 days before he called the attack in Benghazi an act of terror.
Get the transcript.
He did, in fact, sir. So let me call it an act of terror.
Can you say that a little louder, Candy?
Boom! If I were Mitt Romney when he said, please, Governor, proceed, I would have been like,
it's a trap.
But apparently, Reversible Mittens doesn't have the Admiral Akbar sense.
You also have to consider this is radio, so you can't actually see, the reaction on Romney's face when he pulled this off. I mean, basically, he looks like he just came off as a pompous ass.
Yeah. And I think I've seen that picture, and I have to say, and
it's
if
like
you
he
didn't
has
see,
his eyebrows lifted up. It's like, yeah, right.
Yeah, well, no,
like,
I'm talking about
motherfucker.
I'm talking about the picture where he just looks so angry, and I saw the picture of Ann Romney angry, and I have to say,
you are ugly when you're angry.
I mean, Jesus Christ, he was such a douche about it too. Look, he came out, and I've got the audio, it's right here. If I could just type. Here is what he said, September 12th, which, I mean, again, I'm no expert. I'm not a calendar expert, but according to my calculations, which are maybe not that good, September 12th comes directly after September 11th. I'm just going on a limb. But here's what he said
what
in
I
the
want all
Rose
of you to
Garden.
know is that we are going to bring those who killed our fellow Americans to justice. I want people around the world to hear me, to all those who would do us harm. No act of terror will go unpunished. It will not dim the light of the values that we proudly present to the rest of the world. No act of violence shakes the resolve of the United States of America.
War as a Republican, I want your opinion on this. What do you think? Is Mitt Romney just that stupid, or does he just not care? Or what do you think is going on? Because this is something that's easily checked up on, right?
I'm guessing that Mitt Romney had a fact checker in there who gave him some really bad advice and screwed him pretty royally right there. I guess since whoever he has working for him probably checked it and said he didn't say it once. And he obviously did say it.
I think what he's trying to say...
it's just a bummer to be caught like that in being mistaken or
right. Well, I
badly
think
on a public
what he
forum.
may have been trying to say is, President Obama didn't say that this was an organized act of terror. And the fact of the matter is, I don't want my president to come out the next day half-cocked without the right information saying that anyway. Either way, the attack is pointless, right?
Mission accomplished. Remember that?
Yeah. Or am I right? Am I going a step too far? I'm just saying that I don't want my president to come out without all the facts and say stuff like that. We had that with Bush. That ship has sailed or sunk, as it were.
It was sort of a weird stance for Romney to take to begin with, that it would be such a bad thing for him to say whether or not it was an act of terror within the first day. It's almost like what you're saying is probably true. It's like you'd want him to be sure of what he's saying before he says it, so he doesn't accidentally incite riot-like attitudes amongst American people.
And let's be honest, the people in the riots, when they were asked by media, "Why are you doing this?" They specifically said, "It's the video. We're upset about this blasphemous video." And here's the thing. They might have been lying, but do you really expect to get the truth from a terrorist? Do you really expect them to say, Ahmed and I are going to go in and kill this ambassador under the guise of being upset about this video? Really?
It was sort of weird, though.
I think it was just stupid.
I'm not going to take my what a lot of Republicans are saying, the conspiracy theorists out there. It was pretty weird, considering how many lies have been flown from both sides. I know you'll say, of course, Romney has said a lot of lies, but Obama has been mistaken on several cases as well. It was weird to have
Are you referring to anything specific, and can you give an example?
Obama's?
Yes. Just, is there anything specific you're referring
to? Just current policies of Romney's and stuff like that. Things he's claimed he's going to do or will do with
but that's what he said. That is based off of the material he gave the Congressional Budget Office. The CBO has said there is no way outside of a massive tax increase on the middle class to pay for Mitt Romney's plan. Now, maybe that's part of that is because Romney hasn't given them any details, but with the details he has given them, they reached that conclusion. That's not Obama's fault. That's Romney's fault for not giving plans. Romney's basically passing the buck and saying, well, Congress is going to have to come up with the details. No. The president can say, this is what I want this is my idea as a starting point. He can't pass a bill, but he can say, I would like Congress to consider this detailed plan. And he can hold up a detailed plan and say, I would like for someone to use this as the base of a bill. There is nothing unconstitutional with that.
That's fine. That wasn't exactly what I was talking about anyway. I was more referring to something that was said in the first debate. Something to do with Now that I'm on the spot, I can't remember it all.
It's fine. I'm not trying to be mean. I don't want you to think I'm being too aggressive. I just want to know if you had anything specific in mind.
There's something to do with Obama called out in great detail this plan of Romney's, and Romney came back and said, "Yeah, that's not what I'm doing anymore. This is what I'm doing."
Well, but he's on the record as supporting the Ryan budget. I mean, look, here's the thing. I think Romney's paying himself into a no-win situation. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to give advice to the Republicans, but he had to go so far to the right during the primaries, and now he's frantically trying to get back to the middle. There's nothing wrong with Obama saying, "No, wait. You said during the primaries this." There's nothing wrong with that.
It's called Romnesia, and he has it pretty bad.
Well, do you want that clip? I think I have it. I think I do. Here we go. So here's, since Rob, you dropped that bomb, here we go. Romnesia.
But now that we're 18 days out from the election, Mr. Severely Conservative
arm is hurting.
wants you to think he was severely kidding about everything he said over the last year. He told folks he was the ideal candidate for the Tea Party. Now suddenly he's saying, what, who, me? He's forgetting what his own positions are? And he's betting that you will too.
Pause the clip. Just for a second.
Crap.
This is what's annoying me about this.
Why can't it pause?
This situation is that there was a time where Romney said this, and then he got together with his vice presidential candidate. Everything that Obama is claiming happened, to the best of my knowledge, happened before he picked up Ryan. When Romney and Ryan got together to form their own platform, of course some ideas changed. And Obama wants to play the past. He wants to play what Romney was originally doing. It's now bullshit because he's got another voice that he can listen to, and after discussion, they're like, this is the best way we want to advance our platform. From your input.
I have to disagree with that. Honestly, he really hasn't changed that much. And this, especially considering Paul Ryan, well, he's not exactly very moderate, in that case either. I mean,
well, he must have changed something because that's what Obama's complaining about is that he changed things. He's forgotten.
You have to understand. When Romney was running in the primary, basically he had to go so far right just to get the primary nod. I mean, we have to remember, at one point, even Herman Cain was beating Romney.
The only reason why Herman Cain lost the primaries is because he couldn't keep it in his pants.
Yeah. We could be, seriously, if that had not come up, we could seriously be saying Herman Cain versus Barack Obama.
I thought we weren't voting for Herman Cain because he was structuring the economy like a deal on dominoes.
Well, I mean, he's... But
I mean,
no,
the SimCity tax plan?
Let me see here.
I was looking really forward to getting more details on that plan.
But, I mean, I understand what you're saying, War, and I'm not bashing you pointlessly, as Adson might accuse me of. But, what I'm saying is, this is all because Mitt Romney will do and say anything to win. He said, I was a severe conservative during the primaries. Now he's trying to say, I'm a moderate. I'm pro-choice. I won't be so mean to the gays. And we're supposed to believe him? Come on!
The gays aren't going to trust a Mormon anyway.
I mean,
well,
let's be honest.
That's true, but...
I'm going to be honest.
We're dealing with a guy who flip-flops so hard, he flopped before he flipped.
Well, I've actually got a really good clip, courtesy of Kenny Pick, Big Bro, from the dearly departed Arlen Specter, and I think this is perfect to describe Romney.
Mitt Romney has changed positions more often than a pornographic movie queen.
But now that we're...
And again, I mean, look, I'm not saying I expect a politician not to change his mind. I expect the politician to say, new evidence, I changed my mind. But Mitt Romney's he honestly thinks we're stupid.
Well, I said this near the beginning of the election that I really didn't think that Romney's flip-flopping was going to be a problem. I don't remember if you remember this, Adam, but I compared him to Kerry's issues that he had when he was running against Bush. Is that you can't have somebody whose stances seem so fluctuating because people just won't know how to trust him. And to me, it's just I don't feel right about Romney a lot of the times, and he does have a very...
Right. I understand what you're saying. Before we start with the plugs and the parting shots and the things of this nature, I want to ask you. It has come out recently that Mitt Romney and his son Tag is not a real first name, by the way.
What is his real first name?
I think it's Taggart, and that Tag is short. It's still not a real first name. Taggart is a last name. Damn it! Taggart is a last name. Anywho, they own through Bain, and keep in mind this: Mitt Romney may not be running Bain, but he owns a majority share. He owns Bain. He has a controlling interest, but he just doesn't have an executive position anymore. He and his son Tag own a company through Bain that owns voting machines in Ohio. Now, as a Republican, and if I phrase this poorly, please ask me to reconsider. If he were to win Ohio and it looks like there's shenanigans, I mean, would you say that this constitutes a major conflict of interest and would probably cast doubt on his legitimacy? If this happened. If it happened. I'm not saying it will, but I mean, he basically owns the company that's going to be doing the vote counting. I mean, that's a major conflict of interest, right? That's highly unethical. I mean,
I don't know. It would certainly be unusual.
I mean, you understand why I'm kind of iffy about this. It's not. I would say the same thing. Well,
in today's systems, you'd hope that it'd be just a program of ones and zeros. It wouldn't be.
But here's the thing.
Pulling it.
Right. I would say the same thing if it were a Democrat, okay? I don't like this. I don't. It makes me nervous. It makes me... And it's not just because I want Barack Obama to win. I want democracy to win. And if democracy says Barack Obama loses, so be it. But I want it to be the people, not a company, that makes that decision.
Well, they're just tallying the popular vote anyway, aren't they? I said they're just tallying the popular vote anyway, aren't they?
But the popular vote in Ohio is what determines who gets the electoral votes.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So if they flip enough votes, look, we know for a fact that there was shenanigans going on in 2004. And I'm just saying, if Mitt Romney does win, I want to have assurances he didn't cheat to win. And I'm just saying that if he has stock in the people, if he owns the people who are counting the votes, I can't have that confidence. And I think that's a fair thing to say. Do you agree? I mean, how would you feel about that?
I think it will be a much more popular idea if Romney wins. That will slowly be
that what I'm advocating will be.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Like I said, I don't want to seem like I'm jumping down your throat. I don't want to seem
I think if there's any unusual, like any states get certain votes that seem much more unusual, I think that will be researched anyway. I'd like to say that no one would be that would do that, but I know the state of the world, and I know that
right.
The
You're not a
temptation to cheat is there, and it's hard to not.
You're not a naive.
When you have
boob,
the ability to cheat in front of you, it's hard to. You want to keep an honest person honest,
right?
Yeah, the problem with this election in general is that there's so much election fraud going on. It's not voter fraud; it's election fraud, and a lot of it is being, perpetuated by the right. And that kind of worries me.
Right. That tells me, though.
Which part of the right are you talking about?
Well, he's talking like
the Republicans.
The guy in Pennsylvania who said.
No, I mean, what situation?
I got this, Rob. I got this. The guy in Pennsylvania who said voter ID would make it so Mitt Romney could win Pennsylvania. Tell me that doesn't sound fishy to you, please.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. The Daily Show made that abundantly clear to me.
I didn't get this from the Daily Show. I got it from Crooks and Liars. I mean, if I want to be funny, I'll pull from Daily Show. I got this somewhere else. I just don't remember where.
Yeah, the voter fraud situation is definitely something that should be investigated further.
I got it. I got the clip.
The motivations for that were very shady. What? You made a weird noise there, but I agree. The voter registration thing. There was no bias in the problem they were claiming that was.
Now that we're 18 days.
Sorry, I thought I had the clip. It turns out I don't. I'm just saying. I'm glad you at least don't think I'm off the crazy train with this one. That's good. I feel a little better. Anywho, let's get. We're gonna be a little late, but at this point, I don't think it matters much now, does it? First of all,
not we're the only ones listening.
At the Snorky, I think Snork is still here. Snork is still here, and we have two guests. First of all, got a couple of birthdays this week. My friend Misty Toby Sanders had her birthday on the 15th. Happy birthday, Toby. And Giggles, Thomas Giggles Davis, had his birthday. We missed this one last week, and I personally apologize to you, Giggles. Happy birthday, and many happy returns. And of course, please look into our hiccups. Look into our other fine affiliates. There is the Nicole Sandler Show, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern at her Ustream home, Radio or Not. Filter Free Radio with Jacob Dean every Monday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern on Radio or Not. Talking Left is now on Sunday mornings, 9 to 12 a.m. Eastern. They broadcast Radio or Not, but now they're on terrestrial radio. How about that? First Kenny Pick, and now Danielle and Shane. That's great.
You're next.
I don't know if terrestrial radio can handle me. They'll pry my profanity from my cold, dead hands. The More Me Show every Sunday, 5 to 9 p.m. Eastern. And of course, Big Bro himself, Turn Up the Night with Kenny Pick, every Tuesday and Friday, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. And don't forget about the terrestrial radio repeat on WVQ out of Columbus, Ohio, every Sunday, 5 to 8. And tomorrow only, they are live. They are going to be in the studio taking phone calls. And I will be calling in at one point. I gave Kenny my word. And I hope everyone listening, whoever you are, will consider to do the same. Because Kenny is an awesome guy, and I owe him a lot. Especially for that Arlen Spectre clip about the porn thing. So, parting shots, guys. War, since I put you on the spot. Well, I put everyone on the spot tonight, but War, you've been here the longest. What's your parting shot?
Oh no, I don't have one. Hang on, go back. Pick someone else.
Rob, parting shot, go.
I would pay to see Lawrence O'Donnell beat the shit out of Tag Romney.
Yeah. I actually used. Actually, we gave him a long distance dedication earlier, and I'm sure everyone will recognize this. But
Brave Sir Robin ran away. No, bravely ran away. I didn't. When danger reared its ugly head, he bravely turned his tail.
No. This is a long distance dedication to Tag Romney. I'm sorry, that's my best Casey Kasem. War, are you ready with a parting shot, sir?
Well, digging by the way how things are escalating, wouldn't it be awesome if there was like Romney versus Obama, the cage match on Monday's debate? Like they bring it up and it just does the spotlight spinning around the stadium and Obama comes down and he's got the hood on. I hope that happens. That's my hope.
Unfortunately, it's not. I'm not trying. I'm not trying to be a wet blanket.
Don't ruin my dreams, Adam. Allow me to live at least 24 hours with the hope that this could happen.
Why?
Well,
you want to see
if it does
Obama
happen,
get his
I hate to tell you, but the outcome is pretty obvious.
Oh, who'd win in a fight? Obama or Romney?
And my parting shot is never forget what is best in life, which is what was it? Right. To crush your enemies, to see them journey before you, and hear the lamentations of their women. And I want to see that from the Republican, or from my side, I want to see that happen to the Republicans on November 6th. So you all better get your asses out there and vote, or so help me God, I will leak naked pictures of me onto the internet. And no one wants that. No one wants that, right? I'm sure no one wants that.
And you're in the same district as Joe Walsh, right?
No, Joe that's Walsh my home district. I'm in Champaign. I'm from Elgin. My grandmother still lives in Elgin.
You're in Alabama.
No. I'm in Champaign, Illinois.
Oh.
But my home district, I am from Elgin, and I lived in Elgin while I was working at Walmart. But Elgin got absorbed into that district during redistricting. So, go Tammy Duckworth! Kick his ass!
Please.
I think she should, I don't get it. I don't understand how he has such staying power. She was ahead by like double digits, and now she's dipping down. It's like, I think people are just pissed. I think people are just turned off. Because if you look at the polls, Mitt Romney isn't gaining, Barack Obama's just going down. That tells me people aren't happy. But anywho, we're going to call it a night here at Mike Check Radio. As always, thank you to everyone. I'd like to thank Robert Poole, War, our special Republican friend, John Kendall, get well soon, Wes Smith, thank you. And of course, Wes will be back next weekend, and hopefully we'll be able to reattach the foot. I don't know if you heard, Rob, he gnawed his foot off at the ankle to escape this weekend. Because I'm a bastard of a boss. So yeah. Anywho, we will be back next week with Mike Check Radio with Adam Hebert, and I don't know who's going to be here. I'm going to pull it freshly out of my ass. Have a nice week, everyone. Bye.
Time for go to bed. Aye, it is late. Shall we retire?
Goodbye, my friends. Goodbye to you all. I'll never forget you. Live in peace.
Goodbye, all. Stay happy and good luck.
On our way to great adventures.
Get out of here! Disgusting worm!
Push the button, Frank.
Get you next time, Gadget. Next time.
Visitors, thank you for your attendance.
All right, we survived. Oh my God. Thank you. For now. Thank you both so much. I appreciate the backup. And I actually think that went pretty well. No technical difficulties. I'm thinking the problems Geo Proud is always complaining about, I think those are on his end. Because I checked the channel, I had sound, and I had video. So...
It's hard to say with some of these people, I've never had any problems, getting audio. Unless it's something that you did.
Right. If it's a problem with me, that's why I was always checking. It's like I want to make sure, it's not a problem with me.